services replacing the old hospital. Old Fourth Ward Neighborhood Association President Tom Boyle tells WSB something like that would be ideal.
The whole idea behind it is going to be mixed use, and we as neighbors certainly would love to see a medical component in there.
He says the high-level plans in place for the area are encouraging and is optimistic about what the completed project will look like. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
DeKalb County releases a new resource today to help protest organizers and law enforcement after this month's No King's Day protests. The Peaceful Protest Protocol, or P3 packet, is meant to clarify info surrounding protests.
That could mean language against property damage, physical harm of people attending protests, making sure that if you have a sign that it's not affixed to a super long pole or stick so that that object can't then turn into a weapon.
Sarah Hunt Blackwell with the ACLU of Georgia says she believes law enforcement can benefit from the packet as it could clarify appropriate responses. It's 9:02. Jurors are set to start deliberating today in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking and racketeering case. The jury of 8 men and 4 women will weigh the charges that could put the hip-hop mogul in prison for life. The 55-year-old Combs has pleaded not guilty. Police in Idaho are trying to figure out why a man would set a brush fire to lure firefighters into an ambush. That's what they believe happened when a fire started on Canfield Mountain. The 2 firefighters were shot and killed. A third is hurt.
Helicopters with snipers scanning the forest as authorities tracked cell phone activation data, which stayed in the same spot since 3:16 p.m. Eventually finding the man they say was the lone suspect dead with a weapon nearby. And roughly an hour and a half later, law enforcement recovering the body and nearby items before the wildfire burned the area over.
Matt Gutman reports the medical examiner will determine the suspect's cause of death. On the WSB Energy Watch, Georgia gas prices drop slightly as we head into a busy holiday travel week. AAA says the statewide average for a gallon of regular is now $2.94. That's down a penny from a week ago. It's still 4 cents higher than a month ago, 37 cents, though, lower than this time last year. The agency cites stable crude oil prices as the main driver for the drop. It's 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. First, though, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Triple Team Traffic begins with Ashley Fresca.
Thanks, Cheryl. An update, or not really an update, kind of the same story here. It's slow leaving downtown Atlanta because that crash investigation is taking place in the HOV lane. Thankfully, that's all that's blocked, but it's 85 north just past Georgia 400, so be mindful of that. We've got a crash at the beginning of the exit off of 75 south to Delk Road, though you can still make that exit there. 85 south on and off the brake pedal from 316 getting down to Indian Trail, and new trouble on the West Freeway. Andrew Seco.
Just watch this pop up on the jam cam. Stalled big rig into center lane 20 eastbound at Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit number 49. Brake lights taking you all the way back past the theme park. They catch you as you leave Thornton Road, exit number 44. Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today. A few pop-up storms possible. High near 90. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, widespread rain showers and thunderstorms through the morning and the afternoon. High 85. Drying out on Wednesday. Partly cloudy. High 89.
And right now, 75 degrees in Marietta. Norcross, you're at 76 degrees. Another 76 for Woodstock. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, good Monday morning, friend. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. We have got a stacked and packed show for you today. In 30 minutes, we're going live to the nation's capital. The very latest on the budget bill. Senators working deep through the weekend to try to come up with some sort of a compromise. We're going to go live to D.C. in just a little bit. 1 hour from now. I am not on Medicare. I am not of that age yet, but apparently there's some big changes coming to Medicare. I know it impacts a lot of you, maybe your parents, your grandparents. Alexander Tin, he is the health reporter for CBS nationally. He's going to join us live with there. And then make sure you're back at 10:35 when Eric Erickson joins us live. Holy smokes. We might go an hour with Eric Erickson today, Deborah. You might want to text him, give him a heads up, because there's so much to talk to him about. We got the big budget bill. We got Tom Tillis. The Supreme Court decisions on Friday. I know Eric's got a lot to talk about, so he's going to join us live at 10:35. And the big story we're going to go in depth in just a minute is this horrific story out of Idaho, where apparently details are still coming in. Someone set a fire to attract firefighters to come put it out, and then started shooting at the firefighters. Just horrible story. 2 firefighters are dead. really tragic story in Idaho. We're going to get into that in a second. But my whole weekend was enveloped by death. I know it's a really, it's a really weird way to start the show. I apologize. First off, my neighbor across the street, she passed away a couple of weeks ago. Elderly woman was living by herself. And then in rapid pace, they put her sale up for market. And then this weekend they had an estate sale.
Yeah.
Which apparently I didn't know, thankfully, knock on wood, I don't have knowledge of this, but when someone dies, you hire this company. I'll give them a shout out. Their sign was up across the street from my house, Metro Atlanta Estate Services. So they had this 3-day estate sale, just getting rid of all of these woman's belongings, like really sad. Maya went over there and she's like, it was just so sad, like all her clothes and shoes. And I was like, oh, that's heartbreaking that you might have to do something, like that eventually. Or heck, Maya's going to have to do that with my stuff, right? She's going to have all the junk I've accumulated. But I didn't even know that there are companies that you hire.
Yeah, they'll just do it for you.
Yeah, but all weekend, apparently it's a big draw because the whole weekend, my street was jammed with cars parked. I couldn't even get out of my driveway.
I mean, if you're looking for like furniture, antiques, and stuff like that, estate sales way better than a thrifting shop or a garage sale.
I had no idea. Like I always see signs up, estate sale, and I all right, whatever. I didn't know it was such a big industry, and it's the longer the sale goes on, the cheaper things are apparently.
Yep.
So on day one, it was just an estate sale, and then on Saturday, it was Friday, it was started, and then Saturday it was 25% off, and then yesterday was the last day, it was 50% off. And people were just coming and coming. So that was one aspect of death. Another sad aspect, a couple I went to high school with, they had two boys, and they both suffered from some genealogical disorder. Dufresne's, I don't know what, but it's like what are the odds that both of their sons had it? And they were into adulthood now. And on the 25th birthday, my friend's son died on his 25th birthday because
oh my gosh, that's awful.
I know, just horrible. And I'm going to reach out to her because I want to share more. Because before she had these two kids with this disorder, and again, I probably got the name wrong. I had never heard of it before, and I know a lot of folks have it. But they basically been wheelchair bound their whole lives. The other son is still alive, the older son, but the younger son passed away in his 20s, and she is just shattered. Like I've watched them grow up, and they weren't supposed to live very long, right? When they were born, the doctor was like, you get 6 months maybe, and they're into their 20s now. But anyway, and then finally, I mentioned this one. He passed last month. My old buddy and colleague Don Dorberg passed away at the age of 81. Fantastic news guy. Went to his funeral on Saturday. Don worked briefly here at WSB Radio. He was a big star at WGST. I think there was a news director there. And I worked with him at Metro Source Networks. Just a great dude. Vietnam vet. He was part of the K-9 unit, where in Vietnam he would take the dogs around Deborah, the camps, and like look for bombs or whatever, like. And he developed a lifelong love of dogs. And he passed away, and they had the service on Saturday, and then a reception at Manuel's Tavern. I got to see a bunch of our old WSB. Bob Cox and his wife and daughter and granddaughter were there. Love Bob. Steve Holman, the voice of the Hawks, worked with Don over at GST. Tom Hughes. I mean, just old school radio legends. But I wanted to start the show off saying Godspeed to Don Dornberg. Hilarious dude. Encyclopedic knowledge of everything, was just a great guy. So death just enveloped me this weekend. It was just a really weird weekend. All right, let's go to Idaho now and talk about this just horrific story. Julia Vargas Jones from CNN in Idaho.
Well, the plan today from authorities is to go back to that location where the body of the shooter was found for further investigations. What are they looking for? They're looking for more weapons and more ammunition that gunman may or may not have had with him him. Now, they had to remove the body from the location relatively quickly, they said last night in a press conference, because of the threat of that fire. So we have not learned any further details about who this gunman was or what were the weapons that he had with him. But we did hear from the sheriff of Kootenai County here in Coeur d'Alene talking about the very nature of this attack and what that was like for the firefighters that were responding on the scene.
This was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance. When you have an environment where you don't know where the bullets are coming from because of the trees and the shrubbery and what have you, it is daunting for police officers, let alone firefighters who are there just to put out the fire.
Unimaginable, Kate, what these firefighters went through. And now this community is also left with so many questions as the investigation continues in the coming days. Now, I do want to share with you one interesting detail is that authorities did use his cell phone, the shooter's cell phone, to ping his location. And as you mentioned, they had exchanged fire with him, but that for another 90 minutes is how they tried to triangulate him until he eventually was neutralized. We don't know how he died at this time, but that fire in that location continues to burn. It is now called the Nettleton Gulch Fire, and authorities will be going up today as daylight breaks.
Just an absolutely horrific story. That was Julia Vargas Jones in Idaho this morning. Jim Ryan from ABC was born and raised in Idaho. He's going to join us live a little bit later on the show with some developments there. But in case you missed what exactly happened, I guess I still have to say allegedly, suspect set a fire intentionally to get these firefighters out. And then while they were battling this blaze, he just started shooting at them. Killed two, one's in critically injured, and then fled the scene. And he is dead now. We don't know if he died, if he killed himself or was shot by authorities, but he's dead. We don't have any info on the suspect. But when I saw this, Deborah, my immediate thing is like, firefighters are like, that's like the most beloved profession in the world, right? If you look at those polls, like firefighters have like 99% approval ratings, you know. I mean,
heroes.
Yeah, and the bottom of the list you have like politicians and used cars, you know, but at the top of the list, like I go to career days all the time in elementary school, and the stars of the show are the firefighters. The kids adore, I mean, who doesn't? Firefighters, they're just there to help. That's their whole. So the fact that he did this and targeted firefighters, I was like, whoa. You know, like, what's the motive here? And I can only think of two possible motives, Deborah. Oh. And you are the smartest member of the core force, so I'm going to throw these by you. One is it was something, it has to do with love. Like, you know, this guy was married and his wife left him for one of these firefighters. Or, you know, something like that, where he was a jilted lover and somehow he blamed one of the firefighters for whatever romantic issues. Because when you see, anytime there's a murder, you ask detectives, like the number one thing is, you know, is passion, a crime of passion. Yeah. So was this a crime of passion? Is this a brokenhearted dude? His wife left him for a firefighter, and he's like, well, I can't beat up this firefighter, so I'm going to do something. And that's it. So that's one theory. Again, these are just Aram theories. This is nothing from the authorities. I have no basis, but I'm just trying to figure out who would want to kill firefighters. They're just the best of the best, right? That makes no sense. And the other theory I have is that this suspect wanted to be a firefighter.
That's my thought.
Or was a firefighter and lost his job somehow and was just really mad for whatever reason at this fire department that he applied to be a firefighter and didn't make it because it's strenuous. I've had I'm not going to name names, but like 15, 20 years ago, I had a poker friend that wanted to become a firefighter. I was like, dude, that's great. And he spent like 6 months training, all this stuff, was in the best shape of his life, and he didn't make it. Like he couldn't get into a fire. Now he's a social worker or something. He's doing, well, but I remember he was so disappointed that he spent 6 months of, running and lifting and all whatever you need to do to train to be a firefighter, and he couldn't make it. I thought for sure he would get in. Like, in shape dude, bright guy, like and he didn't make. So those are my two working theories, Deborah, that it was either a crime of passion or the suspect wanted to get into the fire station, wanted to become a firefighter, and didn't.
I would say possibly the second one, or maybe this person lost something in a fire. Maybe his house was part of a wildfire or something burned, and maybe fire wasn't able to make it out in time or put the whole thing out fast. I don't know. Maybe that could be another reason.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. It's awful.
But the response, and we'll talk to Jim Ryan about this a little bit later, because I've never been to Idaho. I've heard great things about it, like beautiful country, yeah. But depending on where this was, it was I'm assuming it was a rural area. But they said that 300 first responders from Idaho went to the scene as soon as the call went out. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I would have. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know whether even the big city, Boise. Right?
Boise's the biggest city.
Boise's the big. I don't know if it was near Boise, but anyway, we'll get.
I don't think so. I think it was much farther north.
Okay. Just a story that I can't wrap my head around. We'll monitor that. And again, Jim Ryan from ABC. He was born and raised in Idaho, so he'll give us the lay of the land. He's going to join us a little bit on the show. All right. When we come back after traffic and a quick break, we have a new lawsuit being filed around the horrific Appalachia High shooting in Barrow County. We'll give you the details on that next. But right now, we got to check that Monday morning ride. Oh, I'm going to roll the dice. Andrew Seco Frasca in the traffic center.
Oh, we'll go with the third option.
Oh, Mike
Mark.
Shields is back. Papa, all right, hold on. We got to stop the traffic bed.
Yes.
Mike Shields back from paternity leave.
That's right.
You're pop for the second time. Tell us about your newborn.
Another little boy added to the Shields family, a little Henry. He's healthy. Mom's doing good, and big brother Jacob's also doing good. So very happy and glad to be back with you, Mark.
All right, Henry, a great name, by the way. Love that name. Is that a family name? What was the naming conversation with you and Ashley about this?
She just had a whole list of names, and you know how this goes, Mark. She's the boss.
Of course.
We narrowed it down, and we just came to like it. It just felt right, and it just fits them perfect.
All right, so it's Henry Aram Shields, Henry McKay Shields. What's the middle name?
Henry Mark Aram hyphenated Shields. Yes,
I love it. All right, Vinny, can we hit the traffic bed again? I'm sorry, Mike. Welcome back, Mike. We missed you. Let's check traffic now. How we doing on a Monday, Pops?
All right, overall doing pretty good, except the West Freeway, Mark, where we have a stalled-out tractor-trailer in a center lane, I-20 eastbound, right at Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49, and bumper-to-bumper 5 miles back, almost to Thornton Road right now, exit 44. Think about Highway 78, Veterans Memorial Highway. That will save you time this morning. Also still watching a long-standing crash investigation, 85 northbound at Georgia 400. That remains in the HOV lane. This report is brought to you by Sam's Club. Ready for some locked-in summer value? At Sam's Club, till July 22nd, prices are held over 1,000 items, including summer must-haves like ice cream. Sign up for a membership and join at samsclub.com/join. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
First impressions matter, especially in the summer. Wise Guys Pro Wash will make sure your home makes the right impression. Soft wash, safe results, and zero hassle. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off your home, driveway, deck, or roof wash. Book at wiseguysprowash.com.
That's you, looking at your garage door. And you're wondering, if it gets windy, just how much can this door take? 20 miles an hour? 30 miles an hour? Sure, if we get a little wind, your buddy says if you back the car up against it just right, you can probably save it. But what's your clever plan the next time we get a storm with a name? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Storm-rated doors are built to withstand heavy winds, even if your building codes aren't there yet. It's like the door to the safe that protects your whole house. Stronger materials, heavy-duty motors and springs to handle the weight, and reinforced struts to keep it from bowing out in the wind. How do I know it won't bow? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're prepared the next time a storm with a name comes sailing across the Gulf of Mo.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Summer's a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or your tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back with you. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. There is absolutely no one in hair restoration I trust more than Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event on for limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 470-660-HAIR, 470-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of their best offer ever. That's 470-660-HAIR or online at advancedhair.com.
You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Home improvement projects can be a stressful guessing game. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus, the highest level of communication. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We'll make you comfortable and keep you informed with every step of your project.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus, siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
So right now, there's an active shooter zone. There's BC3's down, BC1's down. Everybody's shot up here. Law enforcement, code 3 now up here.
Wow, that's the one of the 911 calls or radio police chatter of that horrific, fatal firefighter shooting in Idaho. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. In case you missed it, just horrible. Allegedly, the suspect intentionally set a fire to draw the fire department out, and then when they're out battling this blaze, he started shooting at him. 2 dead, 1 critical. The suspect is dead. We don't know name or motive, and we don't know how he died. We're not getting that information yet from the Idaho authorities, whether it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound or he was killed by the authorities. But they tracked him into some, I guess, Deborah, was on a mountain in Idaho. His cell phone, they pinged it. I mean, apparently he was the only person on this mountain. So they're like, oh, that's him. That's his cell phone. So, again, any developments on that? And Jim Ryan, who grew up in Idaho, is going to join us live with the latest on that situation. Big local story, the Appalachia High shooting still fresh in everyone's mind. I know families that have kids that go to Appalachia High. We have a lawsuit now, Deborah, filed by one of the families of one of the victims in the shooting. What's this lawsuit all about?
Yeah, so it's a mother of one of the students that was killed at the Appalachia High School last year, and she's filing a $25 million lawsuit saying that, this could have been prevented because there were warning signs out there. So it names Barrow County School System and the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, saying that, and we kind of knew this information, the Sheriff's Office had already investigated the student and the family and everything, but they didn't do anything about it. So now this family is coming forward saying, hey, you should have known, they should have done something, and so should the school when he transferred, knowing this was a high-risk student, and they didn't do anything. So she's filing against the school system and the sheriff's office.
Interesting. Now, if memory serves correctly, in that case, the suspect, the gray kid, had just transferred into that district, and the file was slow on the transfer. And they've changed the system now, where that file gets immediately interesting. That I'm sorry, Deborah. She's suing the school district, and who else?
And the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, because they were the ones that respond. They had information. Remember, they went to the family's house, and so she's saying that because they failed to act, that's why it happened.
All right, very interesting. All right, we'll continue. We'll update that story. Very obviously still emotions raw in Appalachia High. Coming up after the news, we're going to go live to D.C. and get the latest on the budget bill. Senate working now, but I want to shout out a Congressman, Buddy Carter. He paid tribute on the House floor to our buddy Jamie Dupree.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor a dear friend and a colleague, Jamie Dupree, as he celebrates his 45th anniversary of the day he first began working here on Capitol Hill. Time flies when you're having fun, and for Jamie, there has been no better place to work than right here in the halls of Congress. Over the past 4.5 decades, Jamie has built an exceptional career in broadcasting, delivering fair, clear, and hard-hitting reporting on the work of this institution. For 32 years, Jamie reported for Cox Radio, becoming the senior Washington correspondent for Atlanta's WSB Radio and one of the most trusted sources of news on Capitol Hill. In 2017, Jamie was diagnosed with dystonia, a rare condition that cost him his ability to speak. Even after that diagnosis, Jamie's dedication never wavered. And through technology and perseverance, he continued to provide bipartisan coverage that served as a window into Washington for people across the country. He has been honored with the Career Achievement Award for distinguished reporting on Congress from the Radio and Television Correspondents Association and has been referred to as the most connected man in Washington, a reflection of his professionalism and his integrity. Today, we congratulate Jamie Dupree on 45 years of outstanding reporting and service to the American people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
Thank you, Representative Carter. Jamie celebrating 45 years reporting on Capitol Hill. Invaluable resource for me. I subscribe to his newsletter. I text him more than he probably likes, asking about what's going on Capitol Hill. 45 years in the biz. Well done, Jamie Dupree. We go live to D.C. next on The Mark Arum Show.
What is All Care? All Care is expert urgent care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs. All Care is a team of physicians and clinicians who know you and your medical history, so they can provide the personalized care you deserve. And with both family and immediate care services offered 7 days a week, All Care means seeing your doctor on your schedule. 15 convenient locations, same-day appointments, and walk-ins welcome. Remember, urgent care plus primary care equals All Care. Learn more at allcare-ga.com.
Here at Massey, we've seen the damage termites can cause. That's why we've been protecting homes from termite damage for almost 100 years. Our termite protection program, featuring Always Active Centricon system, doesn't just protect your home from termites, it gives you peace of mind. That's why our termite protection guarantee covers your home and everything in it. Schedule your free inspection today at MasseyServices.com. Massey Services. Expect more and get it.
It's time for Zerorez Air Duct Cleaning Summer Sale. Take advantage and get 15% off all cleaning services. Mention Chris Chandler to secure this deal today or book online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, all they leave is clean.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. Good morning to you. I'm Cheryl Castro. Our top story, demolition of the now closed Atlanta Medical Center gets underway later today.
This afternoon, we expect to learn more about what's planned for the 25-acre site near the old Fourth Ward. Atlanta City Council President Doug Shipman says the plans do call for some affordable housing.
That part of the city continues to develop very heavily. It's near the Beltline. Two, it is at the intersection almost of I-20 and I-75-85 with Freedom Parkway just spurring off of it. So it's very accessible to a lot of different places.
Demolition gets underway today. Redevelopment expected to start in about a year. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
DeKalb County plans to release a protest toolkit today, becoming the latest jurisdiction taking proactive steps to keep demonstrations violence-free.
DeKalb County is calling it a P3 packet, a peaceful protest protocol for demonstrators and police alike.
Anything a government or a police department can do to encourage people to exit exercise their First Amendment right, we're all for it.
As long as it's constitutional, says Sarah Hunt Blackwell, First Amendment Policy Counsel with ACLU of Georgia. So this could spell out language about permits, property damage, making sure signs aren't big enough to be weapons. And Hunt Blackwell says law enforcement protocols and response methods would be helpful too.
People should be out in the streets. People should feel safe and protected in doing so.
Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Well, what's expected to be a marathon vote is expected to begin soon by senators on Capitol Hill. Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock is among those planning to vote against the so-called Big Beautiful Spending Bill.
What kind of nation are we? And what kind of people do we want to be? Who matters?
Warnock says he's worried about potential cuts to programs that benefit seniors and children, as well as rural hospitals here in Georgia. The tax cut package fulfills some of President Trump's campaign pledges, like no taxes on tips and overtime. A Home Depot announcing today a major deal to acquire a specialty building products distributor. The Atlanta-based home improvement giant says one of its subsidiaries will buy GMS Inc., which distributes everything from drywall to steel framing. It's a $4.3 billion deal. The combination of SRS Distribution and GMS will create a network of more than 1,200 locations and a fleet of more than 8,000 trucks. There's a renewed push to honor civil rights leader Ralph David Abernathy by recognizing the historic West Hunter Street Baptist Church.
Georgia's U.S. senators have reintroduced the bill to declare the church on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive a National Historic Site. The late civil rights leader's daughter-in-law, Annette Abernathy, has been leading the charge for the recognition since her husband died in 2016. She says this is overdue.
Generations behind my era may not even realize who Ralph David Abernathy is and what he did and how he contributed to the world that we live in today.
Abernathy says she hopes the measure gets bipartisan support. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's bedbug problem appears to be getting better. Orkin says the city's dropped to 17th place in its annual ranking of the 50 cities with the most infestations. Last year, Atlanta was number 13 on the list. Chicago still at number 1 when it comes to bedbugs this year, based on the number of treatments performed by the Atlanta-based company. Cleveland and Detroit round out the top 3. It's 9:33. Time to check traffic and weather as we check in now with Mike Shields live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And Cheryl, better news on the West Freeway. All lanes were held for about 5 minutes as they try to move a stalled tractor trailer that was in a center lane over to the right shoulder. They've done that, and the lanes are reopening I-20 eastbound at Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49. Still bumper to bumper, though, as you leave Thornton Road, exit 44. A long-standing crash investigation continues in northeast Atlanta, I-85 northbound at Georgia 400. That remains in the HOV lane. Not worth an alternate, but it is slowing as you approach Georgia 400. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy today with a few pop-up storms, high near 90. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the morning and the afternoon. Tomorrow's high is 85. Partly cloudy on Wednesday, high 89.
Right now, 77 degrees in Powder Springs, 78 in Swanee, 77 in Decatur. More news at 10 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks.
And thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies.
We've got it covered.
There are people elated all over the country.
Tune in often for the latest.
No longer will we have rogue judges striking down President Trump's policies.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Now, Republicans are about to make a mistake on health care and betraying a
North
promise.
Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis. We update the budget battle live to D.C. in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
All right, so picture this. I'm pulling up to the house after a long day, and I almost thought I was at the wrong place. The siding was sparkling, the driveway was spotless, the deck looked brand new, and the roof looked like it had been replaced. Well, what had actually happened was I had booked Wise Guys Pro Wash to come by while I was away, and boy, they had crushed it. One call, a quick quote, next day service, and they didn't even need anybody home. They're not blasting your house either with high pressure or a box store pressure washer. Wise Guys only uses the best equipment in the industry. They soft wash everything, so it's safe on paint, trim, siding, everything. My home from top to bottom looks brand new. We actually had company that weekend, asked if we had renovated. Nope, just one visit from my friends at Wise Guys Pro Wash. If you want your house to shine for the summer, do what I did. Mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $70 off your next service. Book now at wiseguysprowash.com before they fill up.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Your summer vacation is going to be awesome, but coming home to those floors won't be. While you're gone, let our highly trained installers transform your space. Just imagine coming home to beautiful new floors. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
Motorcycle riders know that a distracted driver can knock you down. It's nice to know that Steel Horse Law can pick you back up. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. In the worst possible scenario, when someone causes you to lay your bike down, Steel Horse Law will get you the best possible settlement. Their name strikes fear in the heart of big insurance companies because Steel Horse Law is respected and will make them pay. Visit steelhorselaw.com.
But what we're doing, because we've got a view on an artificial deadline on July 4th, that means nothing but another date and time. We could take the time to get this right if we lay down the House mark of the Medicaid bill and fix it.
That's more from a senator from North Carolina, Republican Senator Thom Tillis, not very happy with the big, beautiful budget bill. So much so that President Trump said, I'm going to primary you, sir, in the North Carolina Senate race. And then in response to that, Thom Tillis says, well, I'm not going to run anymore. I'm not going to run. So he is now a lame duck senator as they deal with the ongoing budget battle on Capitol Hill. Joining us live from the nation's capital, correspondent John Decker. John, good morning. First off, how was your trip abroad, my friend?
Well, it was a work trip, as you know. I was with the president for the NATO summit, and went well for the president, I believe, and it went well for me, too. At the president's closing press conference, he called on me to have a lot of news concerning Russia. So it was a good work trip for sure.
And you're back into the fire now. The budget bill continues. I just played some audio from Senator Thom Tillis. President Trump said, I'm going to primary you. He said, all right, I'm retiring then. That's a pretty big headline.
Well, it is a big headline. We know that there were two no votes among Republican senators. One was Rand Paul of Kentucky. The second one, Thom Tillis of North Carolina. Thom Tillis also one of those individuals on the Republican side who voted to impeach the president in his first term. I think that was another reason why he was in the crosshairs of President Trump. So he remains a no vote. Not known for sure how this may impact the ultimate passage in the U.S. Senate unless additional Republican senators join with Rand Paul and Thom Tillis. If that doesn't happen, then the bill will make it out and then be sent over to the House for a vote there. That remains uncertain what may happen in the House of Representatives.
John, who might be possible no votes? Murkowski or anyone else come to mind?
Murkowski and Susan Collins. So all eyes will be on those two senators in terms of how they vote. They both have the same issue. The issue being that the bill removes a significant amount of money for rural hospitals that rely on Medicaid. And that is a big deal for any senator that represents communities in which there are a lot of rural hospitals. Certainly Alaska and Maine fit that bill.
If this passes the Senate, then it has to go back to the House. Are there any fiscal hawks in the House that might be no vote if they don't see they don't like the changes?
This bill, if it makes it out of the Senate, is different than the bill that made it out of the House. Remember, it passed the House with just one vote. So it's not clear whether the changes that were made by the Senate will be okay with deficit hawks on the House side. They may not like the size of this bill. It's over $4 trillion. And that's the
And I believe we've lost John Decker. John, are you still there, buddy?
I am. Hey, Mark, I'm still here.
Okay, we lost you for a second. All right, real quick, I know you got a heart out. July 4th, self-imposed deadline. Is that written and set in stone, or could the senators and the congressmen have a little more leeway?
Well, you know, it's an arbitrary deadline. It's a self-imposed deadline. I think the president would be just as fine if the bill passes on July 8th or July 9th. whether it gets to his desk by July 4th. It's always been an artificial one. The most important thing for the president, he said it, is to just get that big, beautiful bill to his desk. I don't think he really cares about the date in which that happens.
White House correspondent John Decker back stateside live in D.C. John, as always, appreciate your time, buddy.
Thank you, Mark.
There you go, John Decker. What a political whirlwind for John. He was at the NATO summit. Now he's back covering Capitol Hill. All right, I shouted out Jamie Dupree and his 45 years on Capitol Hill. Got this from his newsletter this morning on their new revised big, beautiful bill. It's 940 pages now. And the cost that the Joint Committee on Taxation has released a new review of the latest Senate GOP reconciliation bill. Quoting Jamie here, giving us some interesting figures to chew on. Tax provisions, so you can see what gets the most money. So the SALT provision, Deborah, that's the one where you can deduct up to $40,000 for state and local taxes, which would be up from $10,000, and that's basically rich folks in the Northeast, right? That's
Yes.
Connecticut, that's New Jersey. That's New York. They want to increase that up to 40%. According to the Joint Committee on Taxation, if they bump up that deduction from $10,000 to $40,000, it would cost $142 billion.
Oh my gosh.
That is by far the biggest number when it comes to what these tax cuts could mean to the bottom line. No tax on tips. And that expires after 3 years. And I don't really even know the full extent of this. It's no tax on some tips, and it's up to a certain point. But obviously that is something President Trump has campaigned on. That's going to cost $31.6 billion. So if that gets passed, we lose $31.6 billion in revenue for the federal government, which pales in comparison to the $142 billion that SALT increase would be. And finally, no tax on overtime. That will expire after 3 years. That will be a cost of $89.6 billion. Again, I'm not really sure what overtime qualifies. Do you get overtime, Deborah?
Of course not.
No, I don't. Vinny, do you get overtime?
No overtime.
No overtime here. There were times in my career where I got overtime, and that was like a big bonus. Like
It was huge.
Loved the overtime. What I'm thinking might be, I don't want to say a scam, a Clark Howard scam alert, but if this comes to fruition and there's no tax on overtime pay, how many people, like small businesses, listen, let's just say Vinny works for Longoria's Empanada Palace. All right. And obviously Longoria owns the Empanada Palace. Vinny's a hard worker and he wants a raise. He says, Longoria, I'm making $30,000 a year. I need a raise. And Longoria's like, we're not moving the empanadas, kid. I can't give you a raise. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fudge the books and lower your hourly wage or whatever. And then just say, instead of you worked 40 hours, you worked 60 hours. So that way you get 20 hours of overtime, which won't be taxed. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it.
I could see that being abused, where if it's no tax on overtime, then you just fudge the numbers. Oh, Vinny worked 75 hours this week. So instead of getting an increase in salary, you're making $30,000 making those empanadas for Longoria. If you're not getting a raise, but if you're not getting taxed on a portion, it's like you're getting a raise, if that makes any sense to anyone listening. I don't know. I'm just trying to get in depth on what's going on. But just looking at the sheer numbers, again, the SALT deduction, $142 billion. And I even said on Friday, like, oh, you better take care of those New York Republicans because they're the ones. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And the average person that's not one of the wealthiest of the wealthiest in the tri-state area might see that and be like, what are you, crazy? You get a 40? No, that's ridiculous. That's dumb. So I could see actually that SALT being a loss for the New York congressman that wanted to get it passed in there. But again, the increased SALT deduction, which will certainly help upper income Americans, is larger than both the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime pay provisions combined. So those are the three big cost-cutting measures. How is this faring, the big budget bill, with the American people, right? What's the polling say on this? crazier than a fox, CNN's data analyst Harry Enton this morning.
Well, why don't we take a look at the big, beautiful bill? I got five, not just four, 5 different polls across the screen for you. This is the net favorable rating. The highest rating comes from the Washington Post at minus 19 points. How about Pew, minus 20 points? How about Fox, minus 21? Quinnipiac, minus 26. And KFF takes the cake at minus 29 points. When you have a bill whose net favorable rating ranges from minus 19 points, which is already terrible, all the way to minus 29 points, the bottom line is the American people don't see this as a big, beautiful bill. They see it as a big, bad bill. They hate it, hate it, hate it. They think it's awful, awful, awful.
All right. Has it become less popular or more popular as Americans start learning about the details in this bill?
Yeah, I think a lot of Republicans have been trying to argue the more that Americans get to know about this bill, the more they'll like it. Ain't the case. Let's take a look here. Quinnipiac University polled it at early June and late June. The big, beautiful bill, the net favorable rating. You look here, excuse me, should be at 26. Minus 26 points in early June. How about in late June? Look at this, minus 26 points. So the more they get to know about this bill, the less they, in fact, don't think it's a good idea. They think it's just as bad in early June as they think it was in late June. So the more they get to know this bill, they hate it just the same. And I'll point out the favorable rating among independents, minus 45 points.
All right,
just
so
terrible.
That's Harry Enton from CNN this morning. Now, I hadn't seen any polling on the big budget bill, but really negative territory there. Basically, net unfavorable rating of 20% by Americans. Now, at the end of the day, I don't think President Trump cares about that at all. He wants this passed. He wants the signature legislation. The only folks that might care that the bill is polling negatively are Republicans in swing districts. Not so much senators, I would say, but Republicans in purple states that barely got their seats. They probably are more concerned that the polling data is bad there, but I don't think the president cares. He wants these long-lasting tax cuts. He wants this to be his signature bill. So I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the polls say. It's what the president wants. And if, again, I am not going to doubt anything that President Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson, whatever they want to get passed, they've been getting passed. It seemed like a no-win situation how many times? And they get it done. So I have no doubt they're going to get it done. But I thought that SALT number is big. I could see that going away in some sort of a reconciliation. All right, when we come back on this busy July 4th travel week, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport might lose its busiest designation. What airport is going to become busier than our own Hartsfield-Atlanta-Jackson? We'll tell you after we check traffic on this Monday morning. Some better news out west, Mike Shields.
Yeah, it had a stalled tractor-trailer clear. It had all lanes held to do so. I-20 eastbound at Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49. But now in the backup, looks like new trouble just past Thornton Road. Widely scattered crash. Unfortunately, here, Mark, just finding this on the jam cam of the 2 left lanes blocked. So continue to use Highway 78. That's going to be a great option to avoid the delays on I-20 eastbound from Lithia Springs to the west side perimeter. The support is brought by the International Hot Rod Association. Nitro's back. The IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series light up the track. Nitro Nation. Grab your tickets now at IHRA.com. IHRA.com. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
What would you do with $1,000 this summer?
Hotel, pool, week at the beach, cabin in the woods.
Whatever you want to do this summer,
WSB has $1,000 to make it happen.
$1,000 Thursdays gives you the chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app within that hour.
You could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
95.5 WSB, where Atlanta wins.
Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. Are you a plumber but looking for a better work-life balance? Superior Plumbing is looking for a few good plumbers to join their team. They offer a stable career with great pay and benefits. More importantly, you can build your career with a trusted company.
It is summertime in Atlanta, and unless you're living in the pool, it is just too hot to be outside, right? So where are you and the kids? Inside, doing crafts, eating popsicles, and yes, making messes. Paint on the floor, popsicle drips in the carpet. It adds up fast, but don't sweat it. Zero-Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning has your back this summer. It's Chris Chandler, and Zero-Res is the only company I trust to get my home insanely clean. With their powerful ZR water technology, Zero-Res cleans like magic with no harsh soaps, no chemicals, and zero residue. Means your carpets stay cleaner, fluffier, and healthier longer. And now's the perfect time to book, too, during the Zero-Res summer sale. Get 15% off carpet cleaning, air ducts, area rugs, upholstery, tile, and grout, all of it 15% off. Just mention me, Chris Chandler, when you book to lock in your discount. Visit ZeroResAtlanta.com today to schedule. And don't forget, Zero-Res offers commercial cleaning, too. Zero-Res, all they leave is clean.
What is All Care? All Care is expert urgent care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs. All Care is a team of physicians and clinicians who know you and your medical history, so they can provide the personalized care you deserve. And with both family and immediate care services offered 7 days a week, All Care means seeing your doctor on your schedule. 15 convenient locations, same-day appointments, and walk-ins welcome. Remember, urgent care plus primary care equals All Care. Learn more at allcare-ga.com.
Overhead Door Company of Atlanta is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. You can earn a hiring bonus up to $2,500. Apply today at overheaddooratlanta.com. overheaddooratlanta.com.
Hi, this is Megan, your friend and jeweler from Shane Company. Did you know not all warranties are created equal? At Shane Company, our free lifetime warranty is all-inclusive and even protects the diamond in your engagement ring. We can offer such an incredible warranty because our rings are crafted to last a lifetime. As your friend and jeweler, our gift to you is peace of mind. At Shane Company, we also cover unlimited repairs, resizings, and cleanings for free for life, saving you thousands over time. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The biggest factor, I think, in choosing a company is their integrity. Are they going to warranty their work and stand behind their work?
Meteorologist Glenn Burns loves his Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows from North Georgia Replacement Windows.
The product, of course, has to be good, but the folks standing behind that product have to be even better. This is the company that has the best products, the best service, the best installation.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medi-Share that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medi-Share is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medi-Share is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medi-Share isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus that on supporting other people.
Medi-Share is affordable.
Medi-Share is biblical.
Medi-Share is family. Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE.
The Guiding Light, presented by Ivory Soap, the most famous soap in the world, and Pure All Vegetable Crisco. It's digestible.
It's digestible. That was 73 years ago today. The radio program Guiding Light made its debut as a television soap opera on CBS. We were all the way till 2019. My mom was a Guiding Light viewer when I was a kid. Just thinking back on it, pre-DVR, VHS, that was a full-time job. Because if you missed an episode of your favorite soap opera, General Hospital, there was no way to go back and be like, oh, what did I miss yesterday? So it was like a full-time job for my mom to watch Guiding Light. Was your mom a soap watcher, Deborah, or were you a soap watcher?
No, my mom was at work, so she didn't. But during, if I was home from school or during summer, my babysitter used to love Days of Our Lives.
Oh, yeah.
So I would be forced to watch that. And then I got into it, in college. I put my classes around it so I could watch it. So, yeah, for sure, full-time job.
Vin, your grandma, your mom, they soap opera watchers?
What's SVU?
SVU?
No,
that's
quite the same.
Well, it's like a crime soap opera.
We're sitcom people.
Understood.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because soap operas it's every day. You have to, and if you miss it, now I guess you just DVR it. But back in the day, if you missed 2 episodes of The Guiding Light, you didn't know what the hell happened. All right, so a busy travel week, obviously, July 4th week. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson is the world's busiest airport, but maybe not for long. This coming from WGN in Chicago. Chicago lost its title as the world's busiest airport in 2005, but there are signs it's regaining altitude against its domestic rival. O'Hare had more arrivals and departures than Hartsfield-Jackson in the first 5 months of this year, according to preliminary FAA data reviewed by WGN. O'Hare had 1,479 more takeoffs and landings than Atlanta. But to put that in perspective, O'Hare can see 2,400 flights in a single day. All right, so listen, I love calling it the world's busiest. You better step it up. I'm talking to you listeners. Take some puddle jumpers to Nashville or Savannah or something, but I don't want to lose to Chicago on the title of the world's busiest. All right, we'll keep an update on that. Speaking of the aviation industry, apparently cyber criminals now targeting the aviation industry. How are they targeting it?
Yeah, it looks like a cyber criminal group is setting its eyes on aviation. So airlines here in the States and Canada were reporting some incidents from a group called the Scattered Spiders, and they're known to go into these systems and find ways to extort them or even just embarrass them. But Hawaii Airlines and Canada WestJet all had some issues from cyber attacks these past couple weeks. Now, luckily, it didn't stop any of the flights, but it does get everybody's information. It can kind of mess up a lot of the booking. So one thing that they do is these people will call and basically saying, oh, we're from IT or we're even a client, and they pretend to be help desk people, and that's how they can get all of this information really quick.
But it doesn't seem like it's going to cause any safety issues for...
Luckily, it hasn't, but
Okay.
I mean, who knows what else these hackers can do.
All right. Speaking of hackers, we do have an update on the Iran situation post-strike. We'll update that a little bit later on the show. Coming up in 3 minutes, you have news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, apparently there's some changes going to be made to Medicare, not Medicaid. I know a lot of folks listening are on Medicare, so this is a very important story for you. If not you, maybe your parents or your grandparents. CBS Health correspondent is going to join us live and give us the details on that. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Airman, at WSB Radio.
Summer's here, and so are the backyard parties, barbecues, and pool days. Is your house ready? Wise Guys Pro Wash can help get your home, driveway, and deck back to new in no time. Mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $70 off your next service. Book now at wiseguysprowash.com.
Hi, it's Wes Moss. May's mayhem is behind us, and June is in full bloom. Spring brings milestones like graduations, weddings, and even new homes. It's also a time when you might be thinking about retirement. If that's you, visit our team at Capital Investment Advisors. We'll work with you to craft an income-focused portfolio designed to deliver a reliable paycheck in retirement. Get started at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Hey guys, you looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Well, get Advanced Hair's breakthrough one-day treatment during their once-yearly summer savings event. It's Mark Aron back with you. Check this out. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during Advanced Hair's best offer ever. For details and free consultations, call 470-660-HAIR or online at advancedhair.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Hi there, good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We're going to start with this. It's happening right now in Washington.
Under the previous order, the Senate will resume consideration of H.R. 1, which the clerk will report.
Voting underway on the president's so-called big, beautiful bill right now. Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock among those planning to vote against it, telling colleagues on the Senate floor.
I submit that a budget is not just a fiscal document. A budget is a moral document. Show me your budget and I'll show you who you think matters and who doesn't.
Warnock says he's worried about potential cuts to programs that benefit seniors and children as well as rural hospitals here in Georgia. He says those hospitals would have to live on scraps under the current spending plan. Now, the president is pressuring his party to pass the sweeping tax cuts and spending package in time for him to sign it on July 4th. It's going to need to pass back through the House after the Senate before heading to the president's desk. We'll be following. Check back for updates. All right, your weather for today, partly cloudy, warm and humid. An isolated pop-up shower is possible, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Going to be warm today, headed for an afternoon high of 90. All right, this is new here at 10 o'clock. The Postal Service sending out a warning about a fast-growing scam known as brushing. A mystery package shows up on your doorsteps that you didn't order.
And there'll be something in there saying, this is a complimentary item you're receiving. All we request is that you leave a review.
And WSB consumer advocate Clark Howard says don't do it. The Postal Service now saying that this could mean your personal information has already been exposed. The packages are often sent by online retailers or third parties who use compromised personal information to create fake transactions. So don't scan any QR codes on a package that comes to your house that you didn't order. These codes can lead to malicious websites that can take your personal information. They can also install malware or fish for sensitive information. If you get a package, you are urged to report it, change all your passwords, and do not engage with the sender. The jury deliberations at the Sean Diddy Combs racketeering and sex trafficking trial getting underway. Aaron Katersky is following that story.
This morning, final instructions and deliberations for the jury deciding whether Sean Combs, while making hip-hop mainstream, led a criminal conspiracy that trafficked women and transported prostitutes. 8 men and 4 women, ages 30 to 74, all with a college or advanced degree, heard more than 6 weeks of graphic, harrowing testimony about physical violence, degrading sex, and psychological trauma. Combs did not testify.
Now, the 55-year-old Combs facing a possible sentence of life in prison if convicted of the most serious charges. Home Depot announcing a major deal to acquire a specialty building products distributor. The Atlanta-based home improvement giant saying one of the subsidiaries will buy GMS Incorporated, which distributes everything from drywall to steel framing. The deal between SRS Distribution and GMS will create a network of more than 1,200 locations and a fleet of more than 8,000 trucks. And gas prices have dropped slightly here in Georgia as we head into a busy holiday travel week. AAA saying the statewide average for a gallon of regular unleaded is now $2.94. That's down a penny from a week ago. That's still 4 cents higher, though, than a month ago. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 156 at 43,975. NASDAQ is also in positive territory, and so is the S&P. It is time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina. Unfortunately, bad news out of the western suburbs. A travel advisory with an injury crash on I-20 eastbound just past Thornton Road. They're blocking 2 left lanes there, so 2 right lanes are open, and traffic is slowing out of Lithia Springs this morning. And we've had a crash for a couple of hours now. Crash investigation continues out of northeast Atlanta. 85 northbound just past Georgia. 400 fire department still blocking that HOV lane. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today. A few pop-up storms possible. High near 90. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, widespread rain showers and thunderstorms through the morning and the afternoon. High 85. Drying out on Wednesday, partly cloudy. High 89.
It is 77 degrees in Canton, 80 degrees in Winder. Swanee, you have 79 degrees. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show on a good Monday morning near you. Mark Arum here. You there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Extended fam with us today. Deborah, the executive producer of the program. Vinny, 2 apps on the other side of the takeout window, filling in for Longoria. And Justin Ovey screens your calls. Remarkable to have a superstar like Justin join us today. Coming up in just a couple minutes, the latest on on the tragic firefighter shooting in Idaho. Bottom of the hour, Eric Erickson is going to join us live talking about the big budget bill and the huge decisions from the Supreme Court released on Friday. Part of the budget bill has been talking about cuts to Medicaid, but I know a lot of listeners are on Medicare, and apparently there's some changes coming to Medicare. Joining us live from CBS News, our buddy Alexander Tin. Alexander, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
I am not yet of the age where I am on Medicare, but my folks are, and I know a lot of listeners are. So when I got the story from you that there might be changes coming to Medicare, I was like, oh, we better update the listeners. What can you tell us on this?
Yeah, that's right. You know, folks who have been paying attention know that the new administration has made a big deal about what they say are new and interesting ways that they're trying to cut down on waste, fraud, and abuse, as they call it, within the Medicare program. But one interesting thing that caught our eye last week is they're starting at what they're calling a new pilot program to cut down on waste, fraud, and abuse that is essentially imposing new prior authorization requirements. That's essentially the requirements that, you know, providers need to go through and get approval before they can perform a certain service, and a whole variety of different types of procedures they say are high risk for waste, fraud, and abuse. Of course, this pilot is limited to just a handful of states now. It's limited just to a handful of procedures. And they say that it's optional, that providers have another alternative to get paid if they don't want to do this prior authorization. But it's interesting at the same time that the new administration says they're trying to cut down on prior authorization that they're starting this new pilot program.
Alexander, do we know what procedures are under the microscope for high possibility of waste, fraud, and abuse?
Yeah, they've put out a whole list of procedures that they're going to subject to this stepped-up scrutiny where providers either need to get that prior authorization before they can give the procedure, or they have to face, you know, increased scrutiny after the fact if they want to get paid for it. On the list include things like epidural steroid injections for pain management, nerve stimulation, and incontinence control devices, as well as something that doctors often call treatment of impotence, but people probably know more, you know, commonly as erectile dysfunction.
Oh, yeah, we hear the ads quite often here. On the radio. It just seems to me like it's just going to create more hoops to jump through for folks on Medicare. And just personally, like the more stuff I have to do, especially when it comes to my health, the less likely I'm going to try to do it. So maybe that's where they think there'll be some sort of attrition. Like, well, if you have to do 5 more forms to get your steroid injection or your nerve stimulation, maybe folks just won't even bother doing it.
Well, and look, to be clear, the new administration says that the point of this pilot program, which again only applies to a handful of states, it's not going to be all states immediately. You know, they think that they're going to be able to test out new ways of doing prior authorization. They want to implement this, you know, artificial intelligence, for example, that they think can accelerate prior authorization compared to how it's been done by other health insurers in the past. But of course, it remains to be seen the details of whether that will actually come to fruition. And of course, you know, you make a good point that often the complaint with prior authorization is, yes, you know, it's aimed at targeting waste, fraud, and abuse, but often the collateral damage, so to speak, is, you know, it gets harder for people to get the procedures that they want to get from their doctors or healthcare providers.
Alexander, do you know if Georgia is one of those states for the pilot program?
No, Georgia is not one of the initial states. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned the list up top. It's New Jersey, Ohio, Oklahoma, Texas, Arizona, and Washington. Those are the initial states selected for the pilot program. But of course, it's, you know, this is a pilot program that's expected to expand, especially if the administration thinks it's successful. And of course, the whole bigger point of it being a pilot program is that eventually they want it to be nationwide as well.
Sure. Alexander Tin from CBS News joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. All right, for the youngins out there, and I'm looking at our board op, Vinny, who's in his early 20s, Medicare is a distant thought for him, right? Not much to it. But for folks that aren't familiar with Medicare, can you just give us an overall understanding of what Medicare is and who uses Medicare?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look, Medicare, for the folks who are unfamiliar, is essentially the government health insurance program that offers coverage to basically all seniors in the United States. You know, especially folks after they retire, Medicare is usually the primary way they get health care coverage. It's important to note, and this is one other thing I should have mentioned, is that this pilot program only applies to traditional Medicare. The reason that difference matters is that there's actually 2 options that seniors have for getting Medicare. One is through the traditional government-backed health insurance program. The other is through private health insurers, like, you know, the common ones that you often hear of when you're, you know, usually working and covered through your employer. that can continue to essentially get that coverage reimbursed after they retire from the federal government. So those Medicare Advantage programs, the ones from the big private health insurance companies that are subsidized by the federal government, that isn't affected by this pilot program.
I just got PTSD thinking about at the end of the year when we're just bombarded with those commercials for Medicare Advantage. You turn on cable news and every other commercial is like, hey, Medicare Part B. And it's just so maybe there'll be an adjustment there with the pilot program. All right, so not yet here in Georgia, but if it's successful in these pilot states, it probably will expand nationwide. Alexander, thanks so much for the clarity and the insight on this story, my friend.
Thanks for having me on.
There you go. Alexander Tin, health correspondent for CBS News. All right, Deborah, not something, I'm assuming, like, I know my parents are on Medicare. Deborah, I'm assuming your folks are Medicare recipients as well?
Yeah, they have Medicare as well, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't even know if my parents are like, oh, let's go with the Joe Namath Healthcare Advantage commercial as opposed to the Henry Winkler Healthcare Advantage. At the end of the year, it drives me crazy because it's like, oh, every other commercial is these Medicare health things. All right, so Medicare changes there, but not here in Georgia. Medicaid battle continues on Capitol Hill. Again, after the news at 10:35, Eric Erickson is going to join us live. We're going to talk about the budget battle with him and those big Supreme Court decisions that were handed down on Friday. We were covering that breaking news, and I was really ill-informed when those decisions came down because I had to talk about them not knowing what they were. I was tap dancing, Deborah. Like you're a dancer. Did you take tap dancing at all?
Oh yeah, I love tap. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not love tap dancing on Friday as we were covering that breaking news. But we've had 3 days to digest, and Eric Erickson is going to join us live at 10:35. I want to play some audio here. This is Sheriff Robert Norris from Kootenai County, Idaho, talking about that horrific shooting.
We don't know if there's more weapons up there that he had. There is a belief that he ran and shot. So we don't know what we might be collecting.
Continuing our team coverage of that just horrible shooting in Idaho, ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan. Jim, good morning. Thanks for your time on a really tough story. What are the details we know this morning?
Hey, Mark, we know that the person suspected of firing the shots, and as far as anybody knows, there was only one shooter, that person is dead. And now they're in Canfield Mountain in the northwest part of Idaho. The investigators realized that they were getting cell phone activity from one particular area. They took some sophisticated equipment borrowed from the state of Idaho, flew up over the area in a helicopter, were able to pinpoint that place. They sent officers in, and there was an exchange of gunfire. This man was found dead with a gun near his side. So he has not yet been identified, Mark. We don't know anything about the motivation. We do know that he's thought to be responsible for shooting at 3 firefighters who were responding to a brush fire outside of Coeur d'Alene, killing 2 of them, injuring 1. And it's thought that he also set that fire to lure in those firefighters.
Unbelievable. Now, Jim, you were born and raised in Idaho. Tell us about this area of Idaho where this tragedy happened.
Well, it's a beautiful wooded part of the state, in the northern part, north of Boise and up toward probably closer to the Canadian border than to Boise, up in the northwestern section near the border with Washington State. Very wooded, thickly wooded, primitive areas up there. Some parts are completely unsettled, and a few have never seen people at all. It's isolated, it's wooded, it's mountainous, difficult terrain to try to find somebody, and that's why this cell phone signal was crucial in tracking down the person who was firing shots at firefighters.
So when I saw the development that the gunman was dead, my first initial reaction was, we self-inflicted gunshot wound, but it doesn't sound that's the way it went down.
Well, nobody knows yet, and that's still entirely possible. We do know that there was an exchange of gunfire. Hundreds of law enforcers were there in the area looking for this person, and there was an exchange. So we don't know, though, whether this was a self-inflicted gunshot wound or whether one of the officers actually fired that fatal shot, Mark.
Jim Ryan from ABC News joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. You mentioned we don't have an ID on the gunman, the now deceased gunman. Do the authorities, though, have it and they're just not releasing it, or do we not know at this point?
Well, we don't. I suspect they might. They probably have a pretty good idea whether this was self-inflicted or shots fired from somewhere else. But I think they're holding the cards close to the vest at this point. We still don't know where the identities of the 3 firefighters who came under fire were shot. 2 of them were killed. Those 2 both worked for the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department. The other one worked for the county office there in Kootenai County, Idaho. That person is thought to be okay or will recover, was critically injured, but has been through surgery and is expected to recover, Mark.
Just unbelievably awful story. Jim, as always, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, so Jim Ryan, again, details sketchy about the suspect. We don't know about the motive. In case you missed, I have 2 hypotheses on the motive, because, I mean, who attacks firefighters? They're beloved. We talk about polling. They have a 99% approval rating. Firefighters save lives. They're heroes. So my theory is, or hypothesis is, that one of 2 things are possible. One, it's a crime of passion where the suspect's wife left him for one of these firefighters and he wanted to get retribution, something to do with romance. And the second might be that this firefighter wanted to become a firefighter and went through the training and then got denied a job at this firehouse and decided to take retribution there. You had a third possibility, Deborah. What was your hypothesis?
I was thinking that maybe, like, you know how we heard about Luigi Mangione and his health issues, right? And he went after the CEO. And I was thinking maybe this guy was a victim of a fire. Maybe he thought the fire department didn't come out fast enough. Maybe he lost something in a fire and he blames them for that.
Yeah.
That's his retribution.
That's interesting. So again, the suspect's dead. We might not know what the motive was, but I suspect that the folks in Idaho, and I'm assuming the FBI is going to be lending a hand on this investigation. Maybe there's a manifesto he left or some social media trace where we can figure out why he did this. But again, 2 firefighters dead and 1 in critical condition. Just an awful story. If we do get an update on that story throughout the day, we'll update you here on 95.5 WSB. More from the sheriff of that county in Idaho.
We don't know if there's more weapons up there that he had. There is a belief that he ran and shot. So we don't know what we might be collecting.
And we still don't. So the suspect's dead, but we're not sure yet if he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound or was killed by the authorities.
Based on the information that we've been able to collect, that we believe that there was only 1 shooter. And we based it on the weapons that we found at the scene, the type of injuries that were incurred by that weapon.
Again, that's Sheriff Robert Norris from Idaho. Constant updates if we get new information. Very curious to see what the motive was, and hopefully that 3rd firefighter that is critically injured will recover. All right, when we come back, we got an update on the future, ? Of Iran's nuclear program. But first, on this everly scorching, heating up Monday morning, got to check the roads. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. It's Ashley Frasca.
Travel advisory through Lithia Springs with a crash in 2 left lanes on I-20 eastbound just past Thornton Road. You may want to consider using 78 Veterans Memorial Highway. And finally, wrapping up that crash investigation scene. They're about ready to open the HOV lane, 85 northbound past 400. Traffic brought to you by Sam's Club. Ready for some locked-in summer value at Sam's Club until July 22nd. Prices are held on over 1,000 items like summer must-haves like ice cream. Sign up for a membership. Join at samsclub.com/join. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition, being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Moving is supposed to be exciting, but let's be honest, it usually turns into a juggling act. Sell one house, buy another, try not to lose your mind. That's where Orchard comes in. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Orchard flips the process. Instead of waiting for your current home to sell, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy your next place first, settle in, and breathe a little. While you're unpacking, Orchard is busy getting your old home ready, handling repairs, staging, even upgrades to help it sell for top dollar. And when it does, you get that extra cash too. So yeah, One payday when you buy, another when you sell. It's not magic, it's just smart real estate. No stress, no awkward timing, no crashing in your aunt's guest room for a month. Start with a free home valuation at Orchard.com. 2 paydays, 1 move, 0 chaos. That's Orchard.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just 1 visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just 1 visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Let me tell you, folks, Breda has got the bugs beat at the Aram house. Hey, it's Mark Aram, and my local friends at Breda Pest Management know my house inside and out. They've customized a unique treatment plan that stops any bugs and critters. And let's face it, we live in Georgia. We have bugs. We have a lot of bugs. We have critters. We have a lot of critters. We don't want the bugs and critters inside our home. That's where Breda comes in. With Breda, always a familiar, local person servicing my home and answering my calls, never an irritating automated call center. And the folks that come to my house, they're friendly, they're nice, they do an amazing job, and they care. Breda cares more and will work harder for you. They're our neighbors, and they've invested in our community, and doing it better is what the Breda family does. Breda, they handle bugs and critters. Get started at BREDAPest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Private Selection Angus 80% lean ground chuck is on sale. 16-ounce packages are $5.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Oh, popsicle drips, muddy shoes, and summertime messes, don't let them take over your home. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Zerorez uses their ZR water technology, no dirt-attracting soaps, no harsh chemicals, just a truly clean, healthy home. Right now, take advantage of their summer sale. Get 15% off all services, that is carpets, air ducts, rugs, tile, and more, all 15% off. Just mention Chris Chandler or book now at ZeroResAtlanta.com, and yeah, they do commercial cleaning too. Zerorez, all they leave is clean.
You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Right now, we are seeking an answer to this question. Are we going to see a repetition of an act of aggression while we are engaging in dialogue?
I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but that is the Iranian deputy foreign minister as we deal with the post-strike world after the U.S. had that hugely successful strike on the Iranian nuclear facilities. Deborah, what are the experts saying, the inspectors saying, about the possibility that Iran might still be able to enrich uranium?
Yeah, despite some of the attacks and the damage to the facilities by the U.S. and the Israeli airstrikes, they're thinking Iran can probably resume enriching uranium in as little as a couple of months. Now, for initially they thought, oh, it's going to be years, they've set him back, but now that they've been able to do some intelligence assessments, they're saying it's probably not as damaged as badly as we were all hoping, and it'll be a couple months before they're back at it.
I think it all depends on what their centrifuge situation is and how much of that enriched uranium. Again, there was no reason, unless you're developing weapons, there was no reason to have 60% enriched uranium like Iran did. If you want to do a nuclear power plant, you want to use it for research, it's 2 or 3%, not 60. And then it's from 60 to 90. That's when you get the nuclear grade uranium. Let's head over to Tel Aviv. Nick Robertson from CNN on that side of the story.
Yeah, look, the Iranians have been very, very clear from the get-go that they think that they won the 12-day conflict with Israel, that they believe that they struck military targets here, that they landed a devastating blow on urban areas. We've heard that from the Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. I think when we listen to Iran discuss and declare how much of their uranium enrichment production facilities are still intact, it should be taken with a pinch of salt. Why? Because their assessment of what the damage they did to Israel doesn't bear reality. We can't inspect the sites in Iran ourselves. There isn't good, accurate, on-the-ground information. But what they are saying diplomatically, and this is what Iran's ambassador to the United Nations said just yesterday, he said, no one's going to stop Iran's enrichment of uranium. It's an entitlement. They're going to do it. And they believe it's an international legal entitlement for them to be able to do that for peaceful civilian power generating needs. The narrative that Iran generates here is that it intends to go back to producing uranium. The narrative is that they don't feel this is the right time for negotiations with the United States because they feel that the United States joined Israel in the strikes on Iran. So I think that the Iranian position on this, the details of what happened on the ground may not be clear, but their intent does seem to be clear.
Nick Robertson in Tel Aviv. Good point made by Nick. Iran telling their folks they won the war against Israel, which is just not true at all. So if they're going to lie about that, they're probably lying that they still have enriched uranium. As far as negotiations, one of the precursors that Iran wants is they want assurances that there'll be no more U.S. military strikes before they get to the negotiating table. I don't foresee President Trump or the Secretary of State agreeing to that. All right, big budget bill on Capitol Hill. What does Eric Erickson think? He joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
I love my home, and now I found a company that loves it as much as I do. TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It's Chris Chandler here. These folks have done work in my home. Boy, it didn't take long to realize I could trust their expertise, their attention to detail, and what I think you'll find, just as I did, an amazing level of service. TE Certified has more than 20,000 five-star reviews, and it's been serving Atlanta for decades.
TE Certified, we love your home.
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 40% off, plus kids sail free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
It's been over 2 years since Bobby Carpenter had regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. He needed relief from knee pain, but he wanted to avoid surgery.
I thought I might have to have my knee scoped, had some injuries, some lingering pain from stuff that I had been dealing with from years of playing professional football, and things had kind of flared up again. I started talking to a friend of mine who's orthopedic, and he's like, well, try to avoid surgery if you can.
And you absolutely can avoid surgery. QC Kinetics provides patients with state-of-the-art regenerative treatments, orthobiologics from your own body that help heal and restore damaged, aching joints. And we'll let Bobby tell you about that.
It was all of a sudden that one day, a couple months later, I was here, let's go jog, let's try to see what I could do. And the more I did, I was pain-free with it, and it was actually a pretty remarkable process.
Before going under the knife, see if you're a candidate for non-surgical joint pain treatments at QC Kinetics. Call them today.
Call QC Kinetics, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we make mattress shopping easy. We offer our lowest and best price to everyone, every day, so you can shop when you're ready. We show you exactly what's inside of our mattresses so you can see and feel the quality for yourself to ensure you're getting the best value. And we offer a no-pressure shopping experience. Our team is here to help you find the best mattress for you. It's that easy. Visit an OMF location today to see the Original Mattress Factory difference for yourself.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by your Metro Atlanta AMCO dealers. A motorcyclist is killed in an accident this morning just after 7 on I-85 north of Lindbergh Drive. According to the State Patrol, the driver of the motorcycle was following too closely behind a Honda when that Honda put on the brakes while merging onto 85. The motorcycle slammed into the back of the car. The motorcyclist was thrown from the bike and pronounced dead at the scene. The person's name has not yet been released. All right, your weather for today. Partly cloudy, warm and humid, and isolated pop-up showers possible with a high around 90, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. Demolition of Atlanta Medical Center set to get underway later today. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens will join the CEO of Wellstar Health System, which still owns the land, for a ceremony marking the beginning of major demolition this afternoon. Atlanta City Council President Doug Shipman talking to WSB on what the plans are for that site.
A multi-stage redevelopment that would include healthcare assets, probably not a full hospital, but healthcare assets as well as housing and some commercial spaces.
Now, demolition, he says, will take time, perhaps a year, and then the redevelopment will get underway. In DeKalb County, they're releasing a new resource today to help protest organizers and law enforcement after this month's No Kings Day protest. The Peaceful Protest Protocol, or P3 packet, is meant to clarify information surrounding protests.
That could mean language against property damage, physical harm of people attending protests, making sure that if you have a sign that it's not affixed to a super long pole or stick so that that object can't then turn into a weapon.
That is Sarah Hunt Blackwell with the ACLU of Georgia. She says she believes law enforcement can benefit from the packet as it could clarify appropriate responses. The Senate voting on President Trump's big, beautiful bill. Nicole Killian is following.
The Congressional Budget Office has been scoring various versions of the bill for some time now, but according to these latest estimates, it projects that the Senate version of the bill could add more than $3.3 trillion to the federal deficit, and that close to 12 million people, 11.8 million more specifically, could potentially lose their health insurance coverage. So again, these are key sticking points, certainly, that many Democrats continue to argue about and why they remain in opposition to this bill.
And it remains to be seen if Republicans have enough votes to get the massive tax and spending package on the president's desk by their self-imposed July 4th deadline. Hey, Costco's changing their hours. The retail warehouse is starting to open an hour earlier, starting at 9 a.m. for its upper-level members. Costco will also stay open an hour longer on Saturdays for all members. They'll be closing now at 7, and that starts this weekend. Opening day for London's Wimbledon tennis tournament. Spectators like this man watching the first round in 90-degree heat.
It's really hot. I mean, over the last couple of 3 days, it's just getting hotter.
And the best players in the world competing in the Grand Slam tennis tournament this year. For the first time, there will reportedly be electronic line judges instead of traditional line judges to determine the outcomes of controversial calls. It's 10:33. That means it's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca joining us now from the WSB 24-hour Traffic Center.
Still watching a travel advisory, but the good news, the crash is clearing in Lithia Springs on I-20 eastbound past Thornton Road. Cruiser slowly picking up the barrels, the cones from the left lane, so please be very cautious through the area as you pass Thornton Road, enter into Cobb County. New trouble on the west side. It's a crash. Police are protecting it in the left lane, 285 southbound past Langford Parkway. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy today with a few pop-up storms, high near 90. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the morning and the afternoon. Tomorrow's high is 85. Partly cloudy on Wednesday, high 89.
79 degrees in Stockbridge, 77 in Roswell. Here in Midtown Atlanta, we have 79 degrees. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
You're by the pool.
You're relaxing.
You're sipping a drink.
Someone brings you a towel.
Adjust the umbrella.
Sound like a fantasy?
It's not if you win $1,000 from WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB app within that hour, and you could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBRadio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays
from 95.5 WSB.
where Atlanta wins.
Now, Republicans are about to make a mistake on health care.
That's soon-to-be retired Senator Thom Tillis. A lot of movement on the Senate floor this weekend. We'll update the big budget bill. Eric Erickson live in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. Now you can save time and make the most money and eliminate all hassles this summer. Hey, Sean Hannity, Mark Spain Real Estate can sell your home with the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and help you move on your timeline. With over 67,000 satisfied clients, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast. Go to markspain.com and start packing.
This upcoming health tip is brought to you by Kroger Pharmacy. Keep windows closed to reduce pollen entering the house. Install high-efficiency filters and change them frequently. When changing, place the used filter in a plastic garbage bag. Then dispose outdoors to limit accidental pollen spills indoors.
Critters creeping? Better call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scotts Lage, Georgia, every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
What is All Care? All Care is expert urgent care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs. All Care is a team of physicians and clinicians who know you and your medical history, so they can provide the personalized care you deserve. And with both family and immediate care services offered 7 days a week, All Care means seeing your doctor on your schedule. 15 convenient locations, same-day appointments, and walk-ins welcome. Remember, urgent care plus primary care equals All Care. Learn more at allcare-ga.com.
At Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, buying a car is more than a transaction. It's a 5-star experience because they value you. Enjoy personalized offers and luxury perks, all designed with you in mind. Visit ButlerLexusSouthAtlanta.com or call 800-NEW-LEXUS today. Butler Lexus South Atlanta, the standard of amazing.
But what we're doing, because we've got a view on an artificial deadline on July 4th, that means nothing but
That's the sound of
a
a political career ending. Republican Senator from North Carolina, Thom Tillis, on the Senate floor. Joining us live, continuing our coverage of the big, beautiful budget bill battle, our buddy Eric Erickson. Eric, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Let's start with soon-to-be former Senator Thom Tillis. What went down behind the scenes and in front of cameras that he decided, you know what, I'm not going to run again?
Yeah, so, he doesn't like the Medicaid changes. He felt bullied into them. He's been very unhappy for some time. He isn't really down with Donald Trump's agenda. He's just kind of been giving it a lot of lip service, and he finally had enough. When Trump went after him over his objections, he said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm done. Here's the problem, though. You now have, you've got Mitch McConnell and you've got Thom Tillis, neither of whom now cares what Donald Trump thinks about anything, because they're not planning on running again. You've got Lisa Murkowski kind of in the same boat in Alaska. She hasn't said she's not going to run, but she's contemplated switching to the Democratic Party. So you now have enough senators in the Senate to obstruct pretty much anything Donald Trump wants, and they don't have any loyalty to him.
The first possibility of obstruction would be this budget bill. So we've got Tillis as a firm no, Paul as a firm no. McConnell seems to be on board, though, even though he's...
Yeah, McConnell's an appropriator at heart. If the government's going to spend money, he's going to be for it.
Okay. Any possible... Murkowski, could she be a no?
They made changes to accommodate Murkowski and Collins, so they're probably on board.
What about Ron Johnson?
Johnson, at the end of the day, I think he's going to step up and be a team player on this.
Interesting. And I've been saying this for weeks now. No matter how dire it seems when it comes to something passing, I've learned never to doubt Speaker Johnson and President Trump. I have full confidence that something will get done because they've shown us time and time again it doesn't matter who's against them. They're going to get this through. The question is, though, what is the Senate bill going to look like, and will it be able to pass the House once it gets back?
Yeah, I mean, that's the larger problem here is that you've got House Freedom Caucus members. You only need 4 of them. It looks like you have 5 of them to say this is unacceptable, and they can kill the bill.
Eric Erickson joining us live on the Mark Arum Show, looking through Jamie Dupree's newsletter this morning on some of the tax cuts that have been proposed on the Senate side. No tax on tips would be a loss of $31.6 billion in revenue. No overtime, no tax on overtime pay would cost $89.6. But the big number was the SALT deduction. $142 billion. Right. I know you want to coddle the New York Republican congressmen and women who gave Republicans power in the House, but man, that's a big number, Eric.
Yeah, it is. And you know, this is one of the big objections a lot of people have to it is, why do you want to help the blue states that raise taxes and then offset it with their federal tax deduction? But the problem is, if you don't give the Republicans from blue states this win, they're going to kill the bill. So do you kill it with conservatives or do you kill it with the blue state Republicans? After the election in New York in the Senate, there's even more grumbling over giving any SALT deduction away, but they can't get the bill through the House without it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big number. I mean, to me, it's only that tri-state area, right? The New York, New Jersey, Connecticut folks that...
Yeah, and California Republicans, too. Southern California, the Orange County Republicans are some of the biggest proponents of this. So, yeah, it's going to happen to get this done. And given that Trump is already pushing Thom Tillis out the door, he's kind of sending a message to Republicans in the House that I'll campaign against you. I mean, he's already targeting Thomas Massie, among others.
I shared some polling data last hour about the budget bill, and wildly unfavorable, which kind of, I hadn't really looked at the polling on the bill, but about 20% unfavorable rate. Independents, it's 44% unfavorable on this budget bill. But I think for President Trump, it doesn't matter what the polls say. He wants this to get done. The only people that should be concerned about the polls are Republican congressmen in purple states and swing districts, maybe a Republican senator that isn't guaranteed re-election. They probably care about the poll numbers on the budget bill, because I can't imagine President Trump cares at this point.
They do care, and at the same time, I do have to wonder if when they get out there and start campaigning and saying, hey, we kept our promise, no tax on tips, is that going to matter? I think that's their calculus now. The problem is Republicans, rightly or wrongly, and I kind of think they're wrong on this, they believe that in 2017, they didn't get out and message aggressively enough their tax bill and how it benefited people and allow the Democrats to define it. Now they say, well, we're not going to let the Democrats define it. The problem is the Democrats have already been defining it for most people, and people just see it as a giveaway. But, you know, the Democrats have the same problem with their Inflation Reduction Act, which was amounted to a global warming bill. This is a problem for both sides when they use reconciliation.
On Friday's show, Eric, I had to tap dance as the breaking news from the Supreme Court kept coming down during my show. Yeah. It was a struggle because I had to react to something that I didn't know exactly what was in the text of the decisions. I got very sweaty here, and then I finally got off the air at noon, and I got in the car and started listening to you. And I don't want to, just from a listener's perspective, you sounded giddy about the decisions from the Supreme Court. Was that giddiness I heard in your voice?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, these were things that I have wanted for a very long time. The universal injunction, though, badly misexplained, I think, by the American Press Corps, that this somehow erodes limits on the president. No, all it does is it forces class action lawsuits, which will amount to the exact same thing. It's just one district court in Alabama can't suddenly stop the entire nation from doing something without a class action lawsuit being filed.
I've seen commentators on the left after the decisions came out offering these hypotheticals. Well, when a Democratic president is in the Oval Office, now they can come after your guns and they could do abortion rulings with this increased power. Is that a fair argument or no?
No, it's a hyperbolic argument that doesn't actually withstand the test. If the federal government decides, let's say the president issues an executive order coming for your guns, any American can go to court and stop it, and any sheriff in the nation that actually came for your guns or the federal government, because it's a constitutional right, they would be individually liable. So there are other checks on the government beyond this universal injunction thing, and the left, frankly, has just gotten lazy in how they fight conservatives. They find a progressive judge to issue a universal injunction. They haven't put much thought into the other ways to fight. Now they're going to have to be more creative.
Speaking of the Constitution, we have not yet, it's not been adjudicated yet, even with the rulings on Friday, of birthright citizenship. So where do we stand now with birthright citizenship, and what do you see coming down the road?
So when the court got rid of its nationwide injunction, it gave 30 days before it was going to go away. And the reason is because they want to give time for a class action lawsuit to be filed. Once a class action lawsuit is filed, anyone who fits the class becomes a part of the class. So you retinker the lawsuit, make it a class action lawsuit of illegal aliens born in the country or kids born in the country to illegal aliens. They're now a class. So now that becomes a nationwide injunction, per se, when suddenly everyone who's involved in the class gets into the class. The same thing happens, essentially, a universal injunction, but it's a different process, and it slows the process down. It makes it more thorough, and it's not just one judge willy-nilly deciding on his own to stop something. The lawyers actually have to be involved and build a good case.
So what do you think eventually is going to, it's going to have to go in front of the Supreme Court
it'll
eventually.
go in the Supreme Court. I don't even think Clarence Thomas is going to strike down birthright citizenship. He was asking some of the most hostile questions to the concept in court, but they had to get through the universal injunction first. That's what the president actually wanted considered by the Supreme Court, not the birthright citizenship. That'll work its way back up there.
The one thing I have with the birthright citizenship, and again, I'm not extremely well versed in this. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge, etc. But let's just say, let's say Charlie, member of the Eric Erickson team.
I'm totally there with his deportation.
Let's say that he and his hot neighbor wife are here illegally, but they have two beautiful daughters, or a daughter and a son born in the United States. If birthright citizenship goes away, the two kids, the two Thomas kids, are people without countries. They're stateless, right? Because if they were born here, and Charlie and his wife are from North Korea, they're not citizens of North Korea, and they're stateless. And to me, that's a big headache.
And that, I think, is why you're not going to find a Supreme Court willing to change birthright citizenship. Now, some countries, if your parents are from that country, the children get citizenship automatically. There are some cases that's not the case. And I got to tell you, I just don't think there's an appetite in the court to suddenly get rid of the citizenship of several million Americans going back multiple generations.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, you were giddy on Friday. Will you be giddy today? What are you talking about?
We got to start with the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and how it's actually terrible, but it's probably better than tax increases and the fallout from that.
Eric Erickson must listen to, especially after I was sweating from covering the Supreme Court. It was great to hear you live on Friday. Eric, as always, appreciate your time, my friend.
Thank you.
There you go. Eric Erickson, across these fruited plains, noon to 3 here on 95.5 WSB. Coming up next, Canada's withdrawn its digital services tax on technology companies and hopes to restart trade talks with the United States. What's that all about? We'll go live to Bloomberg News after a quick break and a check of the Monday morning drive around town, live with the latest. Ashley Frasca.
Well, nothing but good news here. Cleared the crash that was in the left lanes, I-20 eastbound past Thornton Road, and authorities just had to hold all lanes on the west side perimeter to clear a crash, and it's now all lanes open. 285 south, just past Langford Parkway, 166, that's exit 5. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks in Georgia,
a meteor traveling at a speed of 30,000 miles an hour
across the U.S.
They're probably going to have to decide the issue of birthright citizenship.
And around the world.
Israel claims Iran fired missiles after the truce began.
We've got it covered.
I had a resident who described what sounded like a gunshot coming through his house.
It's not a partisan issue. Democratic presidents don't like these things either.
There are conflicting assessments about just how badly damaged these facilities are.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Well, I bet it is safe to say you are sick and tired of home services companies that don't show up on time, don't get it right, ghost you then when you need them later. Hey, it's Chris Chandler. I don't have to worry about any of that because I only trust TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. TE Certified is a well-oiled machine with the highest level of communication and follow-up. They're on time, friendly, and fully stocked.
TE Certified, we love your home.
Men, are you having problems performing in the bedroom? Do pills like Viagra and Cialis leave you feeling frustrated? Well, now, There's new hope for men who suffer from PE and ED problems. Meet Dr. Katz, a specialist in men's health.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. Katz with Choice Men's Health. Regardless of your age or medical condition, Choice Men's Health can safely restore your sexual potency. Our customized solutions can eliminate your problem in just one visit. There's no pain, no surgery, and it's affordable.
Guys, don't let the anxiety over your performance get you down. We can get you back in the game. Call Choice Men's Health today to find out how you can eliminate ED on the very first visit. Call 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. People often ask me why our mattresses last so long. The answer is simple. We build them right. Not only are OMF mattresses durable, they give you peace of mind from day one. When you invest in a mattress from OMF, you're investing in better sleep tonight and smart savings for years to come. No more frequent replacements, no more wasted time shopping. To learn more about the true value of durability, visit originalmattress.com and read our latest blog on getting the most from your mattress investment.
Selling and buying a home doesn't have to be a juggling act. With Orchard, you get cash up front to buy your next place, then more cash when your old home sells. Start with a free home valuation at orchard.com. That's orchard.com.
Your neighborhood Kroger pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense Plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/pay-or-update. See your Kroger pharmacy for details.
All foundations are created equal, and neither are foundation repair methods. That is why you should always turn to Atlanta Ramjack for your foundation repair. Mark Beckham here, and we have carefully designed our foundation repair methods over the years, currently holding 12 different patents for our solutions. So if you see cracks in your brick or floor, or if a door doesn't shut properly, or your windows stick, this can all spell foundation trouble. Visit AtlantaRamjack.com for your free estimate and peace of mind.
You know, I've had listeners, coworkers, friends come up and ask me, hey, Aram, what makes Advanced Hair Restoration different? Well, allow me to share, along with some details on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. First off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and their before and afters are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge-quality experience that's hard to find elsewhere. Finally, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for the savings special opportunity, it's here, friends. Advanced Hair Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details and to schedule your free consultation, call 770-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair guaranteed to grow. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medi-Share that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medi-Share is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medi-Share is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medi-Share isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus that on supporting other people.
Medi-Share is affordable.
Medi-Share is biblical.
Medi-Share is family. Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE.
So right now, there's an active shooter zone. There's BC3's down, BC1's down. Everybody shot up here. Law enforcement, code 3 now up here.
Chilling audio there out of Idaho. Coming up at the top of the hour, the very latest on the investigation of that horrific shooting of the Iowa firefighters. In the meantime, though, in case you tuned out over this weekend on social media and the news, looked like we might have another trade war brewing between the United States and Canada. Joining us live from Bloomberg News covering the story, Derek DeClute. Derek, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning.
So I was tuned in to the news this weekend, but I know a lot of listeners were, and all of a sudden we heard President Trump saying, I'm all guns a-blazing now on our trade partners to the north, Canada. What happened over the weekend, and where does the story stand this morning?
Well, on Friday, Trump sort of threw a Friday afternoon bombshell into the Canada-U.S. trade discussions, said he was going to stop those negotiations because he didn't like the fact that Canada was about to put on a digital services tax. This is a tax on things like online advertising and Uber and apps like that, that Canada passed into law like about a year ago, and it was about to come into effect. So over the weekend, there was lots of discussion in Ottawa about this development in the Canadian capital, and late last night, Canada said it would withdraw that tax. And in return, the U.S.-Canada trade talks are back on with a sort of provisional deadline to get a deal in about 3 weeks from now.
Who would have been paying that social media tax or whatever folks are calling it?
Well, the companies, like X, formerly Twitter, Meta Platforms, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. Ultimately, probably this would have more or less been paid or passed on through to Canadian consumers, but the Trump administration didn't like it because they saw rightfully that this was mostly going to hit U.S. companies because U.S. technology companies tend to dominate the tech sphere in Canada and lots of other countries.
And President Trump said that was crossing the Rubicon, if you will. And so, but Canada's backed up. So where do we stand now in trade negotiations with Canada?
Well, there's 3 weeks till the deadline where they say they're going to get a deal. I mean, the main issues on the table are the Trump administration's tariffs on steel and aluminum and cars. All these are major items that Canada exports to the U.S. There's also counter tariffs that Canada put on to retaliate against the U.S. when Trump put his tariffs on. So they'll discuss that and some other issues. There are some other grievances between the two countries sort of going both ways about trade. So, but the talks are happening at sort of a high level between the top ministers in Prime Minister Mark Carney's government and people in the White House.
Derek, that deadline you mentioned, when is it? And is that just Canada specific, or are these all the trade deal deadlines?
No, that's July 21st, and that one's specific to Canada. A lot of the other conversations that the Trump administration is having with other countries, there are varying other deadlines, but a lot of them come up around July 9th with some of the sort of lesser trading partners. Canada and the U.S., of course, have a huge trading relationship. It's worth more than $900 billion a year in goods and services. So it's a really important one, for both countries.
No doubt. Derek DeClute, Bloomberg News. Derek, great insight. Thanks for jumping on with us.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, the very latest on the horrific Idaho shooting. We're going to update our top local stories and major movement, and not in a good way, in the Russia-Ukraine war. All of that straight ahead on the Mark Arum Show. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio. And you can now watch the show live. I'm making hand gestures at the camera online at WSBRadio.com, or just search YouTube for The Mark Arum Show.
Oh, popsicle drips, muddy shoes, and summertime messes, don't let them take over your home. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Zerorez uses their ZR water technology, no dirt-attracting soaps, no harsh chemicals, just a truly clean, healthy home. Right now, take advantage of their summer sale. Get 15% off all services, that is carpets, air ducts, rugs, tile, and more, all 15% off. Just mention Chris Chandler or book now at ZerorezAtlanta.com, and yeah, they do commercial cleaning too. Zerorez, all they leave is clean.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
This is Scott Slade, and see if this fits you. You've just gotten an exorbitant estimate for repairs on your beautiful European car, or you're ready to cut the tie with the dealer. You need to check out Wolf Pen European Auto Repair in Roswell. Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, BMW, the certified technicians at Wolf Pen will have your European car or SUV running at top performance and safety without sky-high pricing. And to get to know you better for a limited time, mention you heard about Wolf Pen on the radio and get a free second opinion on repairs. Just search Wolf Pen in Roswell.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. A new warning from the Postal Service. If you get a package that you didn't order, beware.
This is a gift you don't want.
A WSB consumer advocate Clark Howard says it's a scam known as brushing. Somebody's sending you a gift or a package, and they just want a positive review.
And so this seems like a victimless crime, but it's not.
The Postal Service now saying that if you get one of these packages, your personal information may have already been exposed. Do not scan any QR codes. You want to go ahead and change your password, and do not interact with the sender. All right, your weather for today. Partly cloudy, warm, and humid, and isolated pop-up showers possible, and a high around 90 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. A motorcyclist was killed in an accident this morning just after 7 o'clock. This was on I-85 North near Lindbergh Drive. According to the State Patrol, the driver of the motorcycle was apparently following too closely behind a Honda. When the Honda put on the brakes, while merging onto 85, the motorcyclist slammed into the back of the car. That person was thrown from the bike and pronounced dead at the scene. The person's name has not yet been released. The demolition of the old Atlanta Medical Center set to begin today.
The site is set to be turned into a mixed-use development area with housing, retail, and green space. However, some residents are concerned about the lack of medical services replacing the old hospital. Old Fourth Ward Neighborhood Association President Tom Boyle tells WSB something like that would be ideal.
The whole idea behind it is going to be mixed use, and we as neighbors certainly would love to see a medical component in there.
He says the high-level plans in place for the area are encouraging and is optimistic about what the completed project will look like. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
Happening now in Washington, President Trump's big, beautiful budget bill has been brought to the Senate floor for a vote. Karen Travers is following from the White House and has more on the importance of it.
The biggest priority legislatively right now for the White House and for President Trump, because this bill includes many of his critical campaign promises, extending the tax cuts from his first term in office, the no tax on tips and overtime. These are all big things that he promised voters last year, and now they're including in this legislation.
The president is pressuring his party to pass the sweeping tax cuts and spending package in time for him to sign it on July 4th. It will need to pass back through the House after the Senate before headed to the president's desk. The jury deliberations getting underway today at the Sean Diddy Combs racketeering and sex trafficking trial. Aaron Katursky following that.
This morning, final instructions and deliberations for the jury deciding whether Sean Combs, while making hip-hop mainstream, led a criminal conspiracy that trafficked women and transported prostitutes. 8 men and 4 women, ages 30 to 74, all with a college or advanced degree, heard more than 6 weeks of graphic, harrowing testimony about physical violence, degrading sex, and psychological trauma. Combs did not testify.
The 55-year-old Combs facing a possible sentence of life in prison if convicted of the most serious charges. As we take a look at the markets, we're in the green today. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P all in positive territory. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Right now, watching a few leftover brake lights inbound on the West Freeway where everybody was bunched up. I-20 eastbound on and off the brakes from Thornton Road as you head over to I-285, the west side perimeter. The crash they had, 285 southbound, the outer loop just below Highway 166, Langford Parkway, exit 5. That as well is off to the right. And if you're traveling downtown, a tap of the brakes, 75-85 southbound, a little bunched up as you leave 17th Street, merging in from 85 and 75, trying to make that drive down past North Avenue. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A mix of sun and clouds today. A few pop-up storms possible. High near 90. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, widespread rain showers and thunderstorms through the morning and the afternoon. High 85. Drying out on Wednesday. Partly cloudy. High 89.
78 degrees in Kennesaw. It's 80 in Sugar Hill, and Vinings has 78 degrees. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
I'll run this town to be near you.
11:04 on this fast-moving news day Monday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. A reminder, this Thursday, $1,000 Thursdays come back to WSB Radio 7 times. You're going to have 7 chances this Thursday to win $1,000 just by listening to the radio, including Deborah. Not 1, not 2, but 3 chances to win $1,000 during the Mark Arum Show.
Yeah, I think we had 3 winners last week, right? We gave away $3,000.
$3,000. We're going to do it again this Thursday. So $1,000 Thursdays. In the meantime, to prepare yourself, download the WSB Radio app, because that's the way you enter the contest on the app or the website. It's easier on the app, though. I'm going to give you a keyword in the 9 o'clock hour, 10 o'clock hour, and 11 o'clock hour, and bing, bang, boom, chance to win $1,000. I could have used it over the weekend. Deborah, first off, we're going to get the latest on the Idaho shooting, but after the show on Friday, I had to drop Maya's car off at the shop because there was a problem with it. So Vinny, I kind of forced him into it, Deborah. Vinny gave me a ride home.
Oh, nice.
In exchange for lunch, in exchange for the ride, I said, Vinny, I'll take you to lunch.
That's fair.
And I started naming joints in my neighborhood where you can go. And I'm like, there's Outback, there's Longhorn, there's Red Lobster. And before I could finish it, Vinny's like,
boom.
Red Lobster. He said, and why, Vinny? You wanted the...
I got to get those biscuits,
The Cheddar Bay biscuits, yeah.
It's not Lobster Fest.
No, it was Crab Fest. But here, so Vinny's got, we had Vinny Bag of Donuts, Vinny Drip, Vinny Two Slices. Vinny has a new nickname now, Deborah. It's
what is it?
It's Vinny Two Apps. Because he ordered 2 appetizers.
I got fried calamari and popcorn.
And popcorn shrimp.
Nice.
Yeah, so Vinny too. So anyway, thank you for that, Vinny. In hindsight, you should have gotten star of the show on Friday. You might have gotten it anyway. All right, I want to talk about a local story, a big local story that I was completely unaware of. I mentioned at the top of the show, lost a friend and colleague, Don Dornberg, longtime radio guy, legend in the industry, passed away earlier in the month at the age of 81. The funeral service was on Saturday, and then after the funeral, we had a gathering. What do they call it in the African-American community, where you meet for food after?
Was that the recession? I mean, what is it called?
Repast? Repast, yeah.
Yes.
So we went to Manuel's Tavern in the city, legendary spot there, and it was good to pay tribute to Don. He was a Vietnam vet. That was really cool at the funeral, Deborah. There were 2 soldiers there that presented the family with the flag. I was like, oh, that's... And I was like, after the service, I want to tip the servicemen that were there, but they were gone. Is that inappropriate?
Do you tip the servicemen?
I don't. I just felt like, Anyway, they were gone. I didn't get a chance
Always
to tip.
tipping.
Well, I mean, it was really special. They did, they unveiled the flag, unfurl it, and then fold it. It was really great. Don was such a good guy. So anyway, I'm driving to Manuel's Tavern, and I haven't done a lot of driving in Midtown recently, just since we moved. I'm in Decatur now, and so I was driving to Manuel's, and I went down Juniper. Have you been down Juniper in a minute, Deborah or Vinny?
It's been a minute since I've been down that area itself, but I know the last time I went, it was like a completely foreign city to me.
It is. I don't know what is going on there, but it was like driving through Baghdad. Like they are. The whole street is torn up.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Yeah, I was gonna say, aren't they fixing
always
something
construction.
there?
I don't know what they're fixing, but holy cow! It's not like, one block is rough. The whole from 14th Street all the way to North Avenue, it was like Fallujah. And I don't know, is a prayer circle a thing?
I think they're adding a bike path, aren't they?
I don't know.
Trying to kind of make it more, almost like connect with the Beltline, and so people can like be on their bike a little bit more. I think that's what they're doing.
Whatever their plan is, it's not evident from what they're. It's like Frogger. It's because it's like all of a sudden the left lane's closed and the right lane's closed and this is a turn lane. It was nuts. I mean, I was sweating, gripping the steering wheel on Juniper like, what the hell is going on? And shame on Waze for sending me down Juniper. Way should have known. Like, that was a high-stress drive, man.
Why did you go down Jupiter? Where were you headed?
Juniper. I was heading to Manuel's Tavern, so I had to take Juniper to North Ave.
I would have just gone like straight over Peachtree to North.
Yeah.
But okay. Yeah.
But I was, with Waze, it's like you either have full faith in Waze or you don't. And I did. And I was like, I'm glad it did, because I didn't know what was going on Juniper, how bad it was. But for all the folks that live or work on Juniper, is it a prayer circle? What do I mean, thoughts and prayers, people. Because I don't know when it started or when it's going to end, but it doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. It's like, in 4 years, we're going to have this street. That's how bad it is. Really bad down Juniper. So, I'm not in the traffic game anymore, but don't take Juniper. And don't even walk on that street. Like, the crosswalks aren't existing anymore. It was a nightmare situation. So, a local story I was not aware of. I apologize.
It says it's going to be on and through like July as they're fixing some sidewalks and some plumbing.
Yeah, July's tomorrow.
Bike lanes, through July, adding some trees, a bunch of stuff.
2029 is what I guess they'll finish that. It was that start that I mean, it was a war zone, man. It was a war zone. So, and there's businesses on there. How are you surviving?
I used to work at a apartment building right there on Juniper. Yeah.
It's
I don't know what
there's
doing.
a hotel on there.
Yeah.
You're not getting any, you might get some out of towner to be like, oh, what a great little midtown hotel. Look how cute. And then you're not getting repeat business. You're not getting, if I was an Uber driver, I would decline fares that take me down Juniper. It was that bad. It was that bad. All right. I just wanted to get that out of the way. All right. Again, the big story we've been following out Idaho way. Apparently, a suspect, now deceased, set an intentional fire to draw out fire department officials to respond to the scene. And when they did, he started shooting. 2 dead, 1 critically injured. Julia Vargas Jones in Idaho this morning.
Well, the plan today from authorities is to go back to that location where the body of the shooter was found for further investigations. What are they looking for? They're looking for more weapons and more ammunition that gunman may or may not have had with him. Now, they had to remove the body from that location relatively quickly, they said last night in a press conference, because of the threat of that fire. So we have not learned any further details about who this gunman was or what were the weapons that he had with him. But we did hear from the sheriff of Kootenai County here in Coeur d'Alene talking about the very nature of this attack and what that was like for the firefighters that were responding on the scene.
This was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance. When you have an environment where you don't know where the bullets are coming from, because of the trees and the shrubbery and what have you, it is daunting for police officers, let alone firefighters who are there just to put out the fire.
Unimaginable, Kate, what these firefighters went through. And now this community is also left with so many questions as the investigation continues in the coming days. Now, I do want to share with you one interesting detail is that authorities did use his cell phone, the shooter's cell phone, to ping his location. And as you mentioned, they had exchanged fire with him, but that for another 90 minutes is how they tried to triangulate him until he eventually was neutralized. We don't know how he died at this time, but that fire in that location continues to burn. It is now called the Nettleton Gulch Fire, and authorities will be going up today as daylight breaks here.
Julia Vargas Jones in Idaho this morning. More from the sheriff.
We believe that everybody is off the mountain, so any civilians that were hiking during that time, we believe it's likely, had they been injured, they would have came forward.
Our team coverage continues with ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan. Jim, good morning. Horrible to have you on such a tragic story. What's the new information we have this morning?
Hey, Mark, we know that the person suspected of firing the shots, and as far as anybody knows, there was only one shooter, that person is dead. And now, they're in Canfield Mountain in the northwest part of Idaho. The investigators realized that they were getting cell phone activity from one particular area. They took some sophisticated equipment borrowed from the state of Idaho, flew up over the area in a helicopter, were able to pinpoint that place. They sent officers in, and there was an exchange of gunfire. This man was found dead with a gun near his side. So He has not yet been identified, Mark. We don't know anything about the motivation. We do know that he's thought to be responsible for shooting at 3 firefighters who were responding to a brush fire outside of Coeur d'Alene, killing 2 of them, injuring 1. And it's thought that he also set that fire to lure in those firefighters.
Unbelievable. Now, Jim, you were born and raised in Idaho. Tell us about this area of Idaho where this tragedy happened.
Well, it's a beautiful wooded part of the state, up in the northern part, north of Boise, and up toward probably closer to the Canadian border than to Boise, up in the northwestern section near the border with Washington State. Very wooded, thickly wooded, primitive areas up there. Some parts are completely unsettled, and a few have never seen people at all. It's isolated, it's wooded, it's mountainous, difficult terrain to try to find somebody, and that's why this cell phone signal was crucial in tracking down the person who was firing shots at firefighters.
So when I saw the development that the gunman was dead, my first initial reaction was, probably self-inflicted gunshot wound, but it doesn't sound that's the way it went down.
Well, nobody knows yet, and that's still entirely possible. We do know that there was an exchange of gunfire. Hundreds of law enforcers were there in the area looking for this person, and there was an exchange. So we don't know, though, whether this was a self-inflicted gunshot wound or whether one of the officers actually fired that fatal shot, Mark.
Jim Ryan from ABC News joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. You mentioned we don't have an ID on the gunman, the now deceased gunman. Do the authorities, though, have it and they're just not releasing it, or do we not know at this point?
Well, we don't. I suspect they might. They probably have a pretty good idea of whether this was self-inflicted or shots fired from somewhere else, but I think they're holding the cards close to the vest at this point. We still don't know where the identities of the 3 firefighters who came under fire were shot. 2 of them were killed. Those 2 both worked for the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department. The other one worked for the county office there in Kootenai County, Idaho. That person is thought to be okay or will recover, was critically injured, but has been through surgery and is expected to recover, Mark.
Just unbelievably awful story. Jim, as always, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Mark.
ABC's Alex Stone's in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. As the investigation ongoing, we still have 2 dead firefighters.
And in the procession last night of the firefighters' bodies, the 2 who were killed being moved, firefighters were on overpasses. They were saluting. Community members were doing the same as those bodies were moved.
I wonder, Deborah, if we're going to see locally, and this might not be applicable, but I mean, I've got friends that are firefighters. That is a really tight-knit community, especially, when you have the big Western firefights. Firefighters from all over the country go out there. I mean, it's a tight-knit fraternity, brotherhood, sisterhood of all the. I wonder if at local Atlanta firehouses, like they'll have flags at half staff or something like that. That would seem like to be inappropriate.
Tribute.
The tribute, yeah. I don't know if they have the capabilities to do that, but that'd be nice to see, to show solidarity with the 2 firefighters that lost their lives. Not battling blazes. Well, they were battling the blazes, but they were gunned down by an assassin. They were assassinated. Still don't know anything about the suspect, now dead, or the motive, but any new developments on that, we will bring it to you live. All right, when we come back, we're going to update what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, a major escalation there. But first, checking some delays on downtown. By the way, Alex, for future reference, avoid telling commuters to use Juniper as an alternate route. That street is just horrible.
It's funny because Little Gnocchi and I were talking about that last week, how bad Juniper is. So.
It's awful.
Yeah,
awful.
Not a fun spot. Downtown right now, don't need Juniper because if you're heading southbound into downtown, you are seeing some brake lights, but you don't need to avoid it. 75, 85 southbound. A little sluggish from the 85 400 merge as you head down to North Avenue with the northbound delays from I-20, but brake free once you get up past Peachtree, Pine Street. 85 southbound, there's a crash off to the right, just leaving Norcross before you get to DeKalb County between Jimmy Carter and Pleasantdale Road, so a little sluggish there. And that right lane construction there in DeKalb, I-20 eastbound, right around Wesley, or just east of Wesley Chapel Road, exit 68. Traffic brought to you by Georgia Aquarium. This summer, experience blooming scenes and all things light during glow nights at Georgia Aquarium. Save $10 after 4 p.m. Just visit georgiaaquarium.org. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
What is All Care? All Care is expert urgent care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs. All Care is a team of physicians and clinicians who know you and your medical history, so they can provide the personalized care you deserve. And with both family and immediate care services offered 7 days a week, All Care means seeing your doctor on your schedule. 15 convenient locations, same-day appointments, and walk-ins welcome. Remember, urgent care plus primary care equals All Care. Learn more at allcare-ga.com.
Oh, popsicle drips, muddy shoes, and summertime messes, don't let them take over your home. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Zerorez uses their ZR water technology, no dirt-attracting soaps, no harsh chemicals, just a truly clean, healthy home. Right now, take advantage of their summer sale. Get 15% off all services, that is carpets, air ducts, rugs, tile, and more, all 15% off. Just mention Chris Chandler or book now at ZeroResAtlanta.com, and yet they do commercial cleaning too. Zerorez, all they leave is clean.
A company that has been trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years has already done their hometown homework, like having the very best people, fair, honest pricing, exceptional customer service, and a focus on high-quality work. That's us. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Sometimes new isn't better, like out-of-town home improvement companies invading Atlanta with their inflated pricing and subpar work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Summer's a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or your tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back with you. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. There is absolutely no one in hair restoration I trust more than Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event on for limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 470-660-HAIR, 470-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of their best offer ever. That's 470-660-HAIR or online at advancedhair.com.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we make mattress shopping easy. We offer our lowest and best price to everyone, every day, so you can shop when you're ready. We show you exactly what's inside of our mattresses so you can see and feel the quality for yourself to ensure you're getting the best value. And we offer a no-pressure shopping experience. Our team is here to help you find the best mattress for you. It's that easy. Visit an OMF location today to see the Original Mattress Factory difference for yourself.
A DUI conviction could get you fired, get your license suspended, and increase your insurance rates. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. I recommend you talk to my friend George Stein, the DUI lawyer. Go to georgestein.com.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. I'm the best ever.
Mike Tyson, Iron Mike, turns 59 years old today. Vinny, you're too young to remember Tyson in his prime. You weren't even born. But Deborah and I can attest that he took the world by storm, and his fights were must-see, just absolutely dominant. Deborah, has there ever been a greater celebrity image rehabilitation than what we've seen with Mike Tyson?
I mean, the first thing I think of is the whole ear thing. So probably,
biting
And then he was
Holyfield's ear. Then he went to jail before that or after for sexual. Like he was persona non grata, and now he's like a beloved figure. Like
I think part of that was that when he was in the Hangover. That kind of changed.
Oh yeah,
like,
for
the way
sure.
the way people looked at him.
But yeah, like I've never seen a celebrity. He was like the most feared man on the planet, then the most vilified man on the planet, and now he's like Martha Stewart. Like everyone loves him. You know, it's like a crazy rehabilitation there. Anyway, Iron Mike now 59 years old. All right, AP correspondent Julie Walker reports Ukraine. Says Russia has launched their biggest aerial attack since the start of the war.
An escalating bombing campaign by Russia against Ukraine, further dashing hopes for a breakthrough in efforts to end the war. Ukrainian officials say it's Russia's biggest aerial attack since the start of the war 3 years ago, involving 537 aerial weapons, including drones and missiles. They say most were intercepted or jammed. The strikes targeting several regions, including western Ukraine, far from the front lines. Officials confirming 3 deaths and said another 2 died in Russian shelling. Ukraine's Air Force says one of its F-16 warplanes supplied by its Western partners crashed after sustaining damage while shooting down air targets. The pilot died. I'm Julie Walker.
So while the attention's in Iran right now, Russia is putting the pedal to the metal in their attacks against Ukraine. And apparently there was a brush with some NATO jets, Deborah, in the region.
Yeah, these German fighters intercepted a Russian spy plane in right over the Baltic Sea just before the Kremlin was like wondering about the response to NATO, and you're like, hey, you guys, what's going on here? But 2 Eurofighters took off, and they spotted this plane with the transponder switched off, so they went and kind of saw. Now, the Russian plane never crossed over the German border, but it was right there, kind of on the edge there, just saying, hey, we're out here.
You got to be living on the edge of your seat if you are like Finland, right, which borders Russia. Yeah. Any nation that borders Ukraine or borders Russia right now. Because one wayward jet, one wayward missile, one wayward drone, and this thing escalates even further. And meanwhile, all the attention's being paid to our strike against Iran and the nuclear facilities there. In the meantime, Russia is hitting Ukraine harder than ever, and it doesn't seem like they're slowing down. And there's not even talk. I know President Trump said he was going to try to talk to Vladimir Putin and get the peace talks going, but there's been no movement on that. In the meantime, it's just up to the European Union to funnel money into Ukraine. But crazy situation there. That could, at the drop of a hat, that could turn into a much bigger story. But anyway, just want to get you a quick update on the Russia-Ukraine story. All right, Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic in less than 3 minutes. When we come back, we're going to update our top local stories. And I've been giving Gen Zers, aside from Vinny, love Vinny and Gnocchi, but in the workforce, they're not fitting in very well. Apparently, there's a new etiquette class for Gen Zers. Maybe we'll enroll some of our Gen Zers into that class, Deborah.
Okay.
That could be something. We'll explain next on the Mark Arum Show.
Overhead Door Company of Atlanta is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. You can earn a hiring bonus up to $2,500. Apply today at overheaddooratlanta.com. overheaddooratlanta.com.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Your summer vacation is going to be awesome, but coming home to those floors won't be. While you're gone, let our highly trained installers transform your space. Just imagine coming home to beautiful new floors. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
Steel Horse Law knows that your bike is made of steel, but your heart is made of gold. If someone causes you to lay your bike down, you deserve the very best from an experienced firm that knows bikers because they are bikers. Eric Von Hassler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. They're local, so they understand the changes to Georgia law, and you'll meet directly with your attorney, not just an assistant like the mega firms. Schedule your free accident evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at the Yard Milkshake Bar in Centennial Park and Buckhead.
Trust is not just a word, it's an experience. When your home needs service, you can trust TE certified electrical, plumbing, heating, and cooling. Hey, it's Chris Chandler. TE is the company I trust to fix any problem once and for all. Their 5-star customer experience means easy online scheduling, friendly technicians, and a lifetime workmanship warranty, so I can just sit back and relax.
TE certified, we love your home.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. A motorcyclist has been killed in an accident this morning just after 7. This was on I-85 North at Lindbergh Drive. According to the State Patrol, the driver of the motorcycle was following too closely behind a car. That Honda put on the brakes while merging onto 85. The motorcycle slammed into the back of it. The motorcyclist was thrown from the bike and pronounced dead at the scene. That person's name has not yet been released. Your weather for today, partly cloudy, warm and humid. An isolated pop-up showers possible. Afternoon high around 90. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. The Trump administration has wrapped up its investigation now into Harvard, and Stacey Lynn has details.
It concluded that the university violated civil rights laws requiring colleges to protect students from discrimination based on race or national origin. The federal task force said at times the school was a, quote, willful participant in anti-Semitic harassment of Jewish students, faculty, and staff. The administration has now threatened to cut all federal funding from the Ivy League school if it fails to take action.
Happening now, voting underway on President Trump's budget bill. It's expected to be a long process. The president wants it on his desk by July 4th. We'll be watching. Demolition of Atlanta's Medical Center is set to get underway later today. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens is going to be joined by the CEO of Wellstar Health System, and they still own the land, for a ceremonial marking that begins a major demolition this afternoon at 2. Atlanta City Council President Doug Shipman on what they plan to do with that site next.
A multi-stage redevelopment that would include healthcare assets, probably not a full hospital, but healthcare assets as well as housing and some commercial spaces.
And he says demolition is going to take some time, perhaps maybe a year, and then the redevelopment will get underway. In DeKalb County, they're releasing a new resource today to help protest organizers and law enforcement after this month's No King's Day protest. The Peaceful Protest Protocol is meant to clarify information surrounding protests.
That could mean language against property damage, physical harm of people attending protests, making sure that if you have a sign that it's not affixed to a super long pole or stick so that that object can't then turn into a weapon.
Sarah Hunt Blackwell with the ACLU of Georgia says she believes law enforcement can benefit from the packet, as it could clarify appropriate responses. On the WSB Energy Watch, gas prices dropped slightly as we head into a busy holiday travel week. AAA saying the statewide average for a gallon of regular unleaded is now $2.94. That's down a penny from a week ago. That's still 4 cents higher, though, than a month ago, but 37 cents lower than this time last year. AAA saying stable crude oil prices are the main driver for the drop. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow right now is up 183 at 44,002. So the Dow's up almost 0.5%. NASDAQ and the S&P also in positive territory. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joining us now from the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Gonna have to throw up the yellow flag heading into Midtown, Sabrina. Just found a new crash, 85 southbound before the ramps to 75 north and the exit to 17th Street. It looks like 3 left lanes are blocked, so that's quickly gonna stack up the ride back toward Georgia 400. For now, the Beaufort Spring connector southbound will get you around that, or else you can maybe think about Peachtree or Piedmont as other alternates. Elsewhere, you got the right lane construction into Cab, I-20 eastbound before Panola Road, exit 71. And on the south side, seeing a few brake lights, 75 southbound through Stockbridge from Highway 138, passing Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy today with a few pop-up storms, high near 90. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the morning and the afternoon. Tomorrow's high is 85. Partly cloudy on Wednesday, high 89.
80 degrees in Tucker and Dawsonville. Johns Creek has 81 degrees right now. We'll have more news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks.
In a 6-3 decision, the court has limited individual judges' power on nationwide injunctions.
We've got it covered.
It has huge implications, not just for birthright citizenship, but for every other executive order.
Tune in often for the latest.
Under this president and future presidents.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
How can the Senate seriously be considering gutting care for so many? And now with
Democratic
the
Senator Andy Kim from New Jersey. Coming up next, we'll update the budget battle on Capitol Hill. Next on the Mark Arum Show.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Better prices, better views. Window comfort, meant just for you. Window comfort.
Don't be fooled by the big box brands. Window Comfort's exclusive window line is custom built for Georgia weather, installed by in-house pros and guaranteed never to fog. With factory direct pricing, it's affordable for everyone. Go to windowcomfort.com for real quality that lasts.
Better prices, better views. Window comfort, meant just for you. Window comfort.
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 40% off, plus kids sail free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter. Car prices are expected to rise this summer. Do you wait or buy now? At Butler Lexus South Atlanta, there's no guesswork, just peace of mind. All in-stock Lexus vehicles are price locked, guaranteed not to go up. Visit Butler Lexus of South Atlanta or call 800-NEW-LEXUS. Experience the standard of amazing.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2, ox, a camel, and a kangaroo.
11:37. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. The gang and I with you till noon. Then Eric Erickson noon to 3 on 95.5 WSB. Don't forget $1,000 Thursdays this Thursday. 7 chances for you to win $1,000 throughout the day, including 3 chances here on the Mark Arum Show. I will give you keywords in the 9, 10, and 11 a.m. hours. Enter that keyword on the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com. And you could be $1,000 richer. Last Thursday, we gave away $1,000 during the show, and I look forward to doing the same this Thursday. Tomorrow on the show, Scott Slade joins us live, and the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, obviously, the 4th of July. What do we call that, Deborah? A 4th of July tradition. We're going to talk to Mickey Sudo. He is competing in the hot dog eating contest. Is Joey Chestnut making his return?
I think he's back this year, yeah.
Remember
it was a big deal last year?
Yeah, he did the vegan hot dog contest instead.
Yeah, and he got banned from the other one.
Yeah, but anyway, by the way, I have not been invited to any 4th of July cookouts yet. Hint, hint. Anyone
Maybe you
listening,
should throw one.
No one wants me cooking out. But yeah, Maya's like, what are we doing 4th of July? Have we been invited anywhere? I said, well, Longoria usually invites us, but he's out of town. So anyone that has access to the Piccadilly text line here, if you want to invite me to your 4th of July cookout, I would love to do that. Updating the budget battle on Capitol Hill, we talked to White House correspondent John Decker live in D.C. earlier in the show. Got Eric Erickson's take as well. The voter-rama is what they're calling it for President Trump's budget bill now underway. ABC's Jay O'Brien has the latest from Capitol Hill.
The Senate right now is beginning that voter-rama. This is a long marathon series of amendments, largely brought by Democrats, although there will be some amendments brought by Republicans trying to change various sections of this legislation. Most of those Democratic amendments, actually all of those Democratic amendments, expected to likely fail.
Capitol Hill correspondent Jamie Dupree says there are 2 definite no votes. Tom Tillis, who said he's not going to run for re-election, so he's free to vote his conscience. And Rand Paul, the younger Paul, says no. It's just a matter if there are going to be other Republican defectors. But obviously updates on the budget battle throughout the day and tomorrow morning on Atlanta's Morning News when you wake up for the very latest. President Trump obviously wants that budget to pass. Obviously he ran on that. And the immigration policy, interesting. President Trump, Deborah, now considering offering immigration passes, apparently. And everyone saw this coming, right? With the sweeping ICE raids and the deportations, that eventually it was going to hit industries like the agricultural industry, where folks have been working for decades here illegally, but a vital cog in our food production. Now, President Trump says maybe there'll be some immigration passes. What's the deal with these passes, Deborah?
Yeah, so President Trump said that his administration wants to develop some type of pass, a temporary pass for immigrants who work in particular industries like leisure, so hotel workers and things, and then mostly agriculture, all the farm workers, because, like you said, there were some raids basically from ICE these past couple weeks, and they've lost a lot of workers. Some people don't want to come back in fear of being deported. So the president is saying, hey, these farmers particularly know who they're hiring, especially if they've been there for a couple years. We got to create some type of pass where the immigrants will still be liable and still held accountable for paying taxes, but they still know that they're not American citizens. So they're just trying to figure out how to do that.
I swear, cue up the tape from 2 years ago. I said the exact same thing. I was like, if he's going to do the sweeping immigration plan, there's going to have to be exemptions for certain sectors. Most notably was the agriculture industry, right? The meatpacking plants, the agricultural industry in the Midwest and in California. You have workers who've been here for 20 years in some instances. They're here illegally, but they've been doing this job. I wish I could have had the tape where I said there should be some provisions. I like this move by President Trump. This should have been something initially brought in. But I like the fact, what did you call it, the leisure industry?
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Leisure and agriculture are the two that are
So
highlighted.
the leisure industry, obviously, that is President Trump being like, oh, dang, I've got a bunch of illegals working at the Trump properties.
Hotels.
Yeah, we better protect them. I think that should have been part of the plan all along. And more importantly, moving forward, giving temporary status to folks that work in these industries that are vital. The corn industry, the wheat industry, all the everything we grow here that feeds not just the U.S. but the world. If we lose a significant portion of that workforce, we're going to go hungry. Crops are going to wither.
I can tell you, as somebody who grew up working on a farm in those fields, that yes, there were a lot of migrant and immigrant workers that came in every year because no one else wanted to do a lot of those jobs.
Sure.
Like, I didn't have the option because my dad worked there, so we had to be there. But like none of my other friends who wanted summer jobs, it wasn't even an option for
No.
them. No way they were going to come work on a farm. No way.
Ridiculously hard work. So I'm glad the president's making this. It should have been a part of the initial plan. Is what I think, because I mean, gosh, what's more important than food? And that is an industry. All right, etiquette for Gen Z workers. I mentioned that Fred Blankenship, myself, Ken Charles, we're going to put together a podcast, 100 movies that Gen Zers should watch so they don't feel alienated at work. When Deborah and I are talking about Beverly Hills Cop or whatever, we get these quizzical looks from Gen Zers that have never seen these movies. So I want to make sure that Gen Zers are fully capable of having conversations pop culturally with their Boomer and Gen X coworkers. But apparently etiquette is a thing for Gen Z workers. Now there are etiquette classes to help Gen Zers, I guess, relate in the workforce, Deborah.
Yeah, it looks like some employees are trying to hire etiquette coaches specifically for the Gen Z employers as they enter the workplace, because a lot of their coworkers, the boomers, the Gen Xers, even the millennials, they're complaining that these Gen Zers don't have certain skills. Like they come in and they treat the office like it's their home, meaning they don't clean up after themselves, which is a huge thing for me. A lot of them have lack of hygiene, maybe not showering every day before they come in, and just inappropriate behavior, maybe like streaming something on their phone while they're supposed to be doing other work, but since it's not a work device, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But sometimes the material probably not safe for work.
So I mean, I don't want to label this a generational problem, right? Because we've got Vinny here, we've got Lil Gnocchi, we've got Colby Cannoli, a plethora of the, and they don't, at least these Gen Zers, Deborah, they don't stand out as having etiquette issues, right? I mean, it's...
No, definitely not.
Now, there are other youngins in the building that socially, I think, are really, really awkward. Like, there are a number of Gen Zers that you say hello to them in the hall, and they freeze. They're just not good with face-to-face interactions whatsoever.
It's being attributed for them growing up in a digital age.
But Vinny grew up in a digital age, and if someone says hi to Vinny in the hall, if you don't know him, Vinny, and some boomer or some Gen Zer is like, hey, good morning, what do you say?
What up, what up?
Yeah.
Check out my latest track.
Yeah, like Vinny and Gnocchi, like they get it. So I don't want to label it a generational thing. I think it's a case-by-case basis.
Well, that's for sure, because I've definitely worked with people in other generations that do not clean up after themselves and have a lack of hygiene. That's every generation.
Well, I mean, I can't say that because I work in the same studio as Shelley and Von Hessler, and they don't clean up after themselves. So I don't know about hygiene, but I just feel for Eric Von Hessler and Shelley, I don't know. I don't see it.
No, I'm just saying we've worked with some people who had questionable hygiene. Yeah.
I don't understand how you can come to work not bathed. If I wake up late, it doesn't happen now because of I get to come in later. But back when I was doing TV and I overslept and I didn't have time to shower or shave, and I'd run into work and basically just throw on makeup and brush my hair, I felt just absolutely gross for the whole day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't understand the lack of bathing. I don't know. Anyway, etiquette for Gen Z. One more Gen Z story. AI is doing tasks for Gen Zers that don't want to do their dirty work. I actually respect this. So basically, Gen Z, for tasks that they don't want to do, and not necessarily work-related. Like, let's say, Vinny, you've been dating a girl and for like 6 weeks, and you're like, it's just not working out. Gen Zers are using AI to come up to formulate breakup text messages and stuff like that, right, Deborah? Like, is that what Gen Z?
Yeah, they're using Gen Z to come up with breakup texts, even apologies, or just try to like find the right words to say "I'm sorry" beyond "I'm sorry."
Yeah, that's cool. That's good,
fair.
Yeah, I would have like if you take out this girl, she's it's just foodie calls, Vinny, and she's just milking you dry. Getting all these appetizers at Red Lobster, and you're like 6 weeks in, you're like, I gotta end this using AI. I wish AI was around when I was in middle school and high school to come up with creative ways to ask girls out where I wouldn't get rejected constantly. I would have used that function. Good.
It was Deborah saying, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah, Deborah would have said no to me in middle school and high school. Anyway, all right, thanks, Deborah. When we come back, we're going to update our top local stories. Experts have weighed in on the best movies of the century, this century, 21st century. Tell you the best movie, apparently, according to the critics, this century. After we check traffic on this Tuesday morning, aside from Juniper being crappy, what's going on the roads? Alex Williams.
Now getting crappy in Lithonia, checking on a new crash. I-20 westbound in the work zone. Panola Road exit 71, already slowing back toward Lithonia Industrial Boulevard, Evans Mill, the mall at Stonecrest area. Elsewhere, heading into Midtown, still working that crash. Wasn't two left lanes, down to just the HOV lane blocked. 85 southbound before the ramp to 75 northbound, so that is slowing you back toward Georgia 400. Also slowing the Beeford Spring connector as you lead the Sidney Marcus region. If you want, you can always use Piedmont or Peachtree as your alternates there. And found some road work on the south side getting around the airport. It's in the left lane, 285 eastbound, the outer loop at Riverdale Road, exit number 60. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Is your summer vacation going to be a week at the beach or a week in the backyard standing in the kiddie pool?
If you listen to 95.5 WSB, that week at the beach could be yours. It's $1,000 Thursdays on WSB.
Your chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Thursdays.
Listen for the keyword. Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app within that hour.
Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
From 95.5 WSB.
Where Atlanta wins.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Your summer vacation is going to be awesome, but coming home to those floors won't be. While you're gone, let our highly trained installers transform your space. Just imagine coming home to beautiful new floors. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
You know, I couldn't stop talking about it to my family and friends. My knees are my trouble spot. But for me to tell them now that I'm doing so much better, they were amazed, and I've been amazed.
QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies. Yes, it is amazing how these non-surgical treatments deliver joint pain relief for patients like Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor.
Each week, I just started noticing that I could sleep and not have pain. I could play pickleball. I could do a CrossFit exercise routine.
QC Kinetics revitalizes your joints so you can move again without the pain pills or invasive surgery.
You know, I'm 60 years old and I want to stay competitive as long as I can. And QC has allowed me to do that. They did me right and really made a difference in my life.
Book your free consultation with QC Kinetics today and experience the difference for yourself.
I like to go, move, move, move.
QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
This is Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing, the honest plumber. Like me, Superior Plumbing has been doing business for more than 40 years. Trust me, to last that long takes dedication to doing the job right and building trust with your customer base. I've used Superior Plumbing for years, and owner Jay Cunningham is committed to making you a customer for life, too. Next time you need a plumber, visit thehonestplumber.com.
Market volatility isn't slowing down. If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Man's best friend. Loyal, trusted
trustworthy, dependable. Aw, that's Rufus, the bulldog, the chief barking officer for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Hey, it's Dave Baker. For over 30 years, Findlay Roofing's been your roof's best friend. They're the perfect match for your roof. Findlay is loyal with a lifetime warranty, trustworthy with upfront pricing, and dependable with the highest quality work. When you're not seeing Rufus on Findlay Roofing trucks, billboards, and TV commercials, he loves playing games like Fetch and Tug of War. But Rufus knows that if you play games with your roof, you'll lose every time. You'll always win with Findlay. They're the extra effort experts, making sure you have a remarkable roof replacement experience. When it comes to your roof, think of Rufus and Findlay first. 0% financing available. Schedule your free roof analysis, no obligation, no charge at FindlayRoofing.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medi-Share that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medi-Share is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medi-Share is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medi-Share isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus that on supporting other people.
Medi-Share is affordable.
Medi-Share is biblical. Medi-Share is family.
Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE.
Budget battle continues on Capitol Hill. Senators now kicking off a marathon voting session. Eric Erickson will continue our team coverage of the budget battle right after the new news on WSB. All right, real quick, best movies of this century. So basically, Deborah, the best movies of the last 25 years, right? The first 25 years of this century. Before we get to the list, Vinny, what is, that's your century. This is your century. Your favorite movie of all time?
Life.
Life with Eddie Murray?
Yes.
Murphy?
Oh,
all right, good
absolutely.
call. All right, so the list... There's some good. I haven't put any thought into this. What I think the best movies of the last 25 years are. But on the list, Social Network's at number 10. I really like that movie about Facebook. Number 8 is Get Out, which is a freaking.
That's good.
I thought it was a comedy. Veronica Harrell was like, you got to watch Get Out. And I don't know, and it was not a comedy, but I enjoyed that.
No.
Number 7, a weird movie, but good. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I do agree with number 6, great movie, No Country for Old Men. And number 3, There Will Be Blood. But I never heard of the number 1 movie of the century, Deborah. It's Parasite. Have you seen this movie?
Yeah. I believe it has won all kinds of awards. So it's been on my I should watch that for a long time.
Okay.
Like I think it was on Hulu and everything, and I'm like, oh, I should watch that. But it's a Korean film, and I'm always any foreign film, I'm like, I got to give it. Like, do I want to watch the subtitles?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So, but yeah, I think it won a ton of awards. A couple years ago.
I'll check it out. I'll see if it's available on Xfinity On Demand. But Parasite, according to the experts, the best movie of the 21st century.
Vinny's fact of the day. What a coincidence. It's Mike Tyson's birthday, you say?
Yes, 59.
On this exact day, 1997, he bit Holyfield's ear off.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is on his birthday.
On his birthday, he did that. No wonder.
No one brought him a nothing bunt cake for his birthday, so he's like...
He got mad.
He got mad. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of boxers, have you ever heard of Emil Griffith?
I haven't.
Welterweight champ in the 60s. He's famous for he was in a fight and killed a guy in the ring. I remember that story, but there was a documentary. There's more to that story about it. The documentary, I watched it over the weekend, called Ring of Fire. Crazy story about how he had to live with the guilt of killing someone in the ring while boxing. Check it out, Ring of Fire. The Emil Griffith story. Unbelievable. All right, good job, Vinny. Let's get some stars of the show and go to lunch. Vinny, 2 apps.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Arum?
How about Justin Ovey from Atlanta's Morning News hanging out to screen calls? Justin, thank you for that. That was weird to have someone of his stature join us on the show. Vinny filling in for Longoria. And Vinny Deborah made a Chick-fil-A run, so Vinny gets a star of the show. I supported financially that said Chick-fil-A run, so I'm going to get a star of the show. And, of course, Deborah, you are amazing as always. You get one. Guests, Alexander Tin from CBS, medical update on the changes to Medicare. Eric Erickson, Jim Ryan from ABC News. Tomorrow, Scott Slade and a competitive eater are going to be taking place. The July 4th Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Going to see how a competitive eater preps for such a tough athletic battle on the 4th of July. Social media is active throughout the day at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Tomorrow on the show, if there's any update in Iran or on the Idaho killing, we will bring it to you live here. Stay safe, stay cool, have a great Monday, Atlanta. Eric Erickson is next.
Georgia. Yeah. Said he's going back to a simpler place and time. Oh, yes, he is. Now be with him. I know you will. On that midnight train to Georgia. Leaving on that midnight train.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.